Alrighty, welcome to the second part of Hollywood Big Boss's interview.
And this time we have a guest with us. May I introduce the one, the only Executioner Dairoku Tenmao, formerly known as, in this video, Shotgundude.
How y'all doing?
And we're becoming even more official at the fact that I actually have a clipboard this time. But
no one's going to see that.
No one's going to see that, but who cares?
You have a clipboard.
First question for you is, what were your thoughts on graduating PTHS and leaving PDL behind?
Well, originally, my plan was never to continue dueling after I graduated high school. I wanted it to be about the younger duelists coming up and everything. However, that didn't stay the way that I originally intended because I was talked out of retiring. But originally I was done with high school. I was done with PDL. Because I just felt like I shouldn't hinder people's progress coming up. But
you didn't feel like you should be punching down.
Yeah, pretty much.
Makes sense.
But as I said, I was talked out of it.
Speaking of which, who was it that convinced you to return as an active competitor?
That would have been two people. Dazankick and Sigma V at the time. Sigma wanted me to duel him with the PDL championship that he had illegally taken at the time from Dazankick against the undisputed title, which was a garbage title that, was supposed to be used for the summer months, never really amounted to anything, and get that title. Well, lo and behold, they talked me out of my retirement, had a triple threat duel, which I won, unified the championships, and then it's like, okay, I'm back. I'm not going to leave it behind. There will be a Pontiac Duelist League in the high school, but there will also be a Pontiac Duelist League now more outside of the high school, too. We're going to make our presence more
known,
more available, more, yeah.
What were your thoughts on unifying the PDL Undisputed Championship with the Pontiac Duelist League Championship?
Thank God that fucking belt is gone. It had no value.
That is true.
And it just wasn't used properly. If it could have been used properly, it could have been good.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest issue is that it's competing with our top-tier championship, and we ended up having to transplant part of that title's history onto our Pontiac Duelist League Championship because the guy wasn't fucking defending the belt. So It is what it is.
What were your thoughts on Sigma V's first independently hosted Pontiac Duelist League event on August 9th, 2007?
Once again, still before I met Executioner, but it was the most garbage event that I've ever attended, and that's saying a lot. Sigma held it in his garage. You had Sigma, myself, he invited Kime, of all people, to it.
Okay.
Tiger King was there. Dazankick wasn't, which is like, why is he not here? Because he did it spur of the moment, and I think with him doing it that way, it didn't give anyone enough notice to get together. And then the last person he had brought was this 10-year-old kid named Hitman who had a dinosaur starter deck and did not know how to play the fucking card game. So imagine me mentally beating my head against the table with a kid who's at every turn is like, Sigma, what do I do now? Sigma, what does this card do? Literally the whole game.
Oh.
And that kid won the duel. And it's just, oh my fucking God. Because it was just single elimination, it wasn't last man standing. So, Tiger King, sorry, gotta clear my throat here. Just dealing with a little bit of garbage. Tiger King ended up beating him just 12 minutes later for the title. He just bodied the poor kid, but at the same time, it's like he's got no experience. He can't duel without Sigma telling him what to do.
Yeah.
Tiger King's got a fully functioning deck, and then Tiger King unfortunately got a call, had to go, and he vacated the Pontiac Duelist League Championship. to the winner of Hitman versus Sigma V, which would begin an 82-day title reign of Sigma V's where he did damn near nothing. Once again. And speaking of that, I actually just thought of something dealing with the first hosted PDL event by Sigma V. There was actually a second event that he had hosted, but it wasn't a Pontiac Duelist League event. A few weeks later, he invited myself over to his garage again, and he had Nidair, Malachi, and Kime there. And I'm just thinking, he's got these three guys here, and I don't have any traditional format or advanced format decks on me at the time. I think I was pretty much just a spectator for this one. But it's like, why are you trying to bring me in with these guys? I mean, they obviously don't like me.
Yeah.
I don't like them for treating Dazankic like shit at the time. It's like, how is this ever going to work? It's like, there's too much ill will and bad blood between each other. I mean, what?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't duel their style. It's like, what's he trying to prove here?
Yeah.
I don't even remember what the duels were or who won, but I just remember being there and being like, I don't know why I'm here. But it was what it was, so that's the end on the events that Sigma V hosted, and I think it was as a result of those that I finally started promoting my own PDL events outside of the high school, because it's like, well, if this is what he's going to do, I think I might have even had a conversation with him about me starting to promote again myself, because it's like, this isn't exactly what I have in mind. So let me have the book again. Let me run this. And really, that's where a split happened, where you had a Pontiac Duelist League outside the high school and a Pontiac Duelist League in the high school.
Yeah.
Now, I'll get into the Pontiac Duelist League in the high school in the next segment, because there's a lot of stuff that I didn't become privy to at this time.
Yeah.
But I did later because of a result of Mantis, Kalar, Draga, Chris, and Wolfbane for a bit coming back into the Pontiac Duelist League. And that changed my entire perception of what had happened and my exodus and everything. So, but I think that pretty much covers the question about the Sigma V hosted PDL event.
I think so, yeah.
So, want to move on to the next question then?
Yeah, sure. What were your thoughts on EX19 handing over the Kankakee Duelist League Championships on September 2nd, 2007?
Late August, I got a message from him saying that, hey, Nightmare is not in our group anymore. We're having trouble getting together because of conflicting college schedules, all that stuff. So he pretty much sold me on we're folding the group and everything. And that he wanted to just put the group to bed and everything. And I'm like, I actually am going to be up in Bradley on September 2nd. Why don't we meet real quick? Just talk for a bit. And he was like, sure, whatever. I met him. He just wanted to hand me the championships initially, but when I found out that he had his deck on him, I'm like, you know what? Just duel me for him first. So he's like, sure, okay. Here's the thing that really surprised me is that he had a deck pretty much built for PDL format, which I thought was really weird, because it's like they're using this Blackluster Soldier, Chaos Sorcerer kind of like GOAT format kind of dueling style, and he's got a PDL style deck built, and he's trying to use Obelisk Effect Rapid Fire to kill me, and it didn't work because I stopped him from using Monster Reborn on Obelisk, and I was just able to run him over with my Blue Eyes deck. So it's like, I'm not sure what I can gather on facial expression, because the entire time he wore sunglasses, and we're indoors, and he's wearing sunglasses. and he's wearing this plain wife beater t-shirt, like jeans, and he's got all these, like, I'm not sure if they're fake gold or whatever gold chains around his neck, and he's like, so, my name's Phil Rich. So, like, Philip, no, Phil. And it's like, okay. It was just really, really weird. Like, I don't know how else to put it, but it was just like, he had a deck suddenly built to our format meant for taking my main deck down, but I wasn't using my main deck, so yeah, it was really weird. It should have sent up some red flags, but at the time it didn't.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on Sigma V introducing you and Shotgundude on September 8th of 07?
All right, so I'll actually go first on our meeting, and then I'll let Executioner talk about our meeting from his standpoint. But from my initial thing, being honest, I didn't want to meet him. Yeah, he flipped me off, but it's true. With how the meeting with Hitman had went, that had put such a bad perception in my mind that it's like, oh God, no, not another one. Because the main thing is when he told me his age. It's like, oh, I got another duelist I want to show you. Okay, he's only 12. In my head, I'm like, fuck, not another one.
Not another.
For once, boy, was I wrong. What happens in our first meeting? He has a barely modified wind starter deck with winged rhinos from the unpack thing and a couple other cards, and he beats my Creator of Light main deck. He beats me in his first duel. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? After that, my entire perception changed. I was more than happy to have him in the Pontiac Duelist League. Because it's like, holy shit, this guy can actually go. He knows the card game. And the fact that he was able to beat a deck that had held the World Championship previously, even though it's only gone like maybe 3 or 4 cards being modified since I built it in 05 at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, damn. But Executioner, go ahead and give your thoughts on it.
Be honest, I didn't want to get up that day. I was being lazy. But he taught me up. Sigma taught me out to go out. And I'm like, fine, fuck. Just meet this guy. He likes to do. I'm like, okay, bring your cards. I'm like, sure. So I bring my deck, meet up. We had a match, and as he said, I beat him.
Badly.
Yeah, and it was fun.
Well, I wasn't expecting the harpy spam that you did because you destroyed my back row. And there wasn't really anything I could do once that was done because I didn't get a good draw on monsters. Yep. So, hey, I was happy to lose that duel, so.
Fair enough. Why did you award the PDL Hardcore Championship to Shotgundude?
I had previously awarded it to Hitman at the behest of Sigma V, which was a mistake. Shotgundude dueling at the level that he was dueling at, it's like, I'm giving it to him. Like, Hitman, I don't want anything to do with this guy until he can learn to duel. Hitman never showed another event again. He is by far the worst duelist that the Pontiac Duelist League or any of Duelist Sans Frontières territories has probably ever had the displeasure of having on a roster. But Executioner, it's like, he deserves it. He deserves to be that champion because he beat me. He beat Sigma that day. It's like, okay, this guy can go. I don't remember if Dazankick was there or not. I think it was just the 3 of us. But
No, it was.
It was?
Yeah,
Okay.
just this 3.
All right, but that's how it went.
What were your thoughts on establishing the Mexican National Duelist League with Tyrant Dragon Slayer on September 10th of 07?
Tyrant Dragon Slayer would win a tournament that day to win his championship. We had been talking on a Yu-Gi-Oh! Forum, finding out that he was legit from Mexico City, Mexico. Holy shit. Because it's like, now we got a world presence in PDL.
Yeah.
Like, we have a subsidiary territory in Mexico City. I was really happy with him. He was a good duelist. He knew his cards. He played a slightly different format than we did, but I had no problem with that, honestly.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was such a good player, was so knowledgeable about the card game, it's like, and I was wanting to expand the Pontiac Duelist League, so it's like, it's a win.
Yeah, fair enough. What were your thoughts on the aftermath of Nightmare and EX19 and KDL?
Bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
A bunch of bullshit lies that they had concocted trying to take my eyes off the Pontiac Duelist League, to take my eyes off the ball, and for a while it worked.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, me focusing on their crappy drama distracted me from what I should have been focusing on at the time. I don't need to go into details about their horse shit because it's dead and buried.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have my head in the game because of that.
Fair enough. What were your thoughts on the unification duels on September 25th of 07, October 30th of 07, with the Pontiac Duelist League and the Kankakee Duelist League championships?
All right, so can I see the list real quick for what the duels were? Just to jog my memory. Okay, so on the 25th of September, Sigma V defeated Dazankick, Shotgundude, and HollywoodBigBoss. As I recall, I got knocked out first by either Dazankick or Shotgundude, and then Shotgundude went down second, and then Dazankick went down third. Yeah, it wasn't because Sigma V was really good in that duel, it's just because he outlasted Dazankick, and the fact that I think they wasted their resources knocking me out so early that it just allowed him to win.
Mm-hmm.
On the 30th, there were actually 3 duels for the KDL unification, because the first duel was just unifying the tag titles with the PDL and the NWO championship. Tiger King defeated KDL champion HollywoodBigBoss. PDL champion Sigma V defeated Dazankick. Then PDL champion Sigma V defeated KDL champion Tiger King on October 30th, 07. As far as the third list duels, Executioner was not present at the second set of duels on October 30th. I think he was sick. Because I remember calling him for that, but he wasn't there for some reason. Do you by chance remember? Day before Halloween.
I don't really remember too well, but I think I might have been sick that day.
Yeah.
Woke up with some feeling with a fever and all that and felt like crap.
Because we had planned big time to have a bigger tournament than that, but
yeah,
people just either A, weren't able to attend, or B, couldn't attend because of outside, circumstances.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on Sigma V no-showing his title match against Shotgundude on November 14th of 07?
We had planned that since the 30th. Since Shotgundude couldn't be there, he's taking on Sigma for the PDL National Championship. He's the only one who's gotten wins over Sigma at this point, and he hasn't been able to cash in on those victories for the championship. He deserves it. He's earned it. He's beaten me. He's beaten Dazankick. He beat Tiger King. Okay, let's go forward with Shotgundude. He deserves this opportunity. Day arrives. And keep this in mind that Sigma V had work and everything, but at the same time, I scheduled it deliberately on a day that he had off. I was having to meet him after my work, still in my work uniform and everything, just because of that. I don't remember if your mom dropped you off where I was at, or if I came and got you and then brought you to where we were supposed to meet Sigma.
I think you came and grabbed me that day, so I remember you being in your uniform.
All right, but anyway, we waited for over an hour. And he's like, and I called him initially, hey, you going to be there? Yeah, I'll be there. Just give me a few minutes. An hour goes by, a little bit more. Call him, hey, what's going on here? He's like, oh, I'm not going to show up. And it's like, so you're not showing up after we've planned this for 2 weeks and I picked a day that you deliberately don't have anything going on to duel the guy who you brought in, who deserves a championship match against you. And it's like, I can't let you keep the championship. He's like, yeah, whatever. So, Shotgundude gets the championship.
Yeah.
And neither of us feeling happy over that result dueled each other, which I won the championship, held it for 15 minutes or so. But then I allowed Shotgundude to have a rematch against me. He managed to beat me back for the championship. And Lord Anubis, who I had just brought in to the Pontiac Duelist League 2 weeks beforehand, start of November, because his brother insisted on me giving this guy a tryout and everything, because I went to high school with him and junior high with him since 6th grade. I knew the guy. So it's like, okay, I'll give your brother a chance. He was Shotgundude's age, but he knew how to duel. That was the most important thing. He's this young, but he is one of the best pure duelists I've ever met. He has 10 different decks at the time. They're functional, and they're capable of, actually dueling and having a good strategy to them. And Anubis ended up, end of that day, walking away with the PDL National Championship. So those were the 4 title changes that happened that day, and it just rubbed me the wrong way that Sigma didn't have the courtesy when we planned out over 2 weeks in advance to show up here, and he doesn't show up.
Yeah. Well, you kind of talked about the next question I had for you, which was, what were your thoughts on Lord Anubis joining the Pontiac Duelist League and defeating Shotgundude for the PDL National Championship just 2 weeks after his debut?
Well, to expand a little bit more, I did not want Lord Anubis. He used to go by Wolfman at the time in the Pontiac Duelist League for the same reason as Executioner. I felt he was too young, but his brother really pushed for months for me to bring him in. I mean, for months. So I finally caved in. I'm like, okay, Craig, I'll give him a shot. And he surprised me. He didn't win his duel against me, but he damn sure surprised me. He came pretty fucking close. So yeah, I was really happy once I got to meet him. I went over with Craig to their house and everything, did some more talking in their kitchen and everything with Anubis, went through his cards collection and everything, saw all the decks that he had, and it's like, okay, this guy can go, he knows the card game. On the younger side of things, but I know his brother. I've known him for all these years, for over 6 years. So it's like, okay, yeah, I accept having you in the group. I was shocked that he beat Executioner in their first meeting and everything, because it's like, okay, so he couldn't beat me, but he beats Executioner.
It was a close match, if I remember.
It was really, really close.
It was a back and forth battle.
It was a short duel, but it was really close. Like, they were throwing, like, knockout blows all the way through.
Fair enough.
Like, damn. Because Anubis was playing a Blue Eyes deck. You were doing your Harpy deck. But it's just, oh, man.
And I was sitting on Smorg for a couple turns early.
Yeah.
Just doing damage.
So, yeah, that went, the way it went.
What were your thoughts on Sigma V and Dzankic's first meeting with Lord Anubis on November 25th on 07?
Okay, so their first meeting went over bad. And I never really got why Sigma V had all the hatred towards Anubis. Because it's like, this kid can go, he can duel, he knows the cards, he's very good on his rulings. So a tag team duel was set up where, and you said the 25th, correct?
Yep, 25th of 07.
Okay, so I would have been the PDL champion going into that duel. Dzankic was the hardcore champion. And then the NW 2.0 champion, let's see who was the champion on November 25th of 07. Okay. November 20th would have been Executioner. He was not there. So I did not worry about him defending that championship that day. Because of, it just didn't make sense to, take the championship off of him because he had been doing so well. But anyway, meeting initially, Dzankic and Sigma arrive after Anubis is there. They trade cards and everything. I think everything's going great. Get down to dueling. Tag team duel. My championship and Anubis against Dzankic's Hardcore Championship in Sigma.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Anubis just starts beating the absolute dog shit out of them. Like, I'm in a turtle position with how I got my deck's defenses up and everything.
Yeah.
And Anubis is just dominating Dzankic and Sigma. And Sigma is getting more and more visibly irritated that he is losing to this kid.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a kid that he can, easily beat or any of that stuff. It's like, this is someone who he's doing his damnedest to try and defeat, and he's got an answer for every card that he's got.
Yeah.
He's just absolutely bending him over in this duel. And Dzankik isn't doing much better, which was really shocking to me that it's like, holy shit, he's beating both of them by himself.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw this in. It sounds like they were underestimating him and thought you were more of a main threat.
Not with the field that I had.
Yep.
It was...
Because they were targeting you more.
They weren't targeting anyone with how Anubis had his board set up. It was just...
Yeah.
I've never seen those two get that decimated by one player ever.
Fair.
And Sigma gets pissed. He gets to the point where he's like, I'm fucking done with this. I'm fucking leaving. And he made Dzankik get up, take his cards up, and leave with them.
Jesus.
And I'm like, I kept my mouth shut. I didn't say anything. I probably should have said something. But it's like, I should have called him out on his hypocrisy with it, man. Because it's like, that kid was literally asking Sigma every card they was playing what to do and what each card did. And then Anubis, who's 2 years older, knows all of his cards and is fucking bodying them 2v1. It's like, yeah, there's a problem here. And I didn't think anything of it at the time, but I should have. But anyway, back to the subject. Because they got up mid-duel like that, they forfeited.
Yeah.
So Anubis gets the hardcore championship, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Because there's no other way to say that he didn't beat them. He had them dead to fucking rights. There was no way that they were winning that duel. Even with me not having, as good of a board and just being in defense with, I think, Rampart Blaster, that was my defense. Because I was either 3 or 4 Exodia cards in. And I was waiting for the 5th one, and it wasn't coming fast enough. But in the meantime, Anubis is just kicking the dog shit out of him. So it is what it is on that first statement, but at the same time, it's like, this kid just beat up 2 of the most decorated duelists in our group to the point where Sigma throws a fucking hissy fit like a 2-year-old because he's not getting his way, gets up and leaves, and I'm like, you're the hardcore champion now, kid. They forfeited. And that would be the first in a line of incidents with Sigma V again.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on Lord Anubis going 3-0 against Dzankik?
What the fuck? I think Executioner was there for the other 2. But it was... I thought you were because it was Dzankik, you, me, Anubis, and Root Beer Guy.
It might have been. I don't remember too.
You don't remember those.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just like, what the fuck? Because it's like, he beats him in that one walkout duel, which that's, one thing. But the other 2 duels that he has against him at our next event that we have, he just tears Dzankik apart like he's a rank amateur, and he's not. And I'm just like, wow. And I don't know what was going on with Dzankik's personal life at the time, but seemed like he was losing a step in his dueling. I mean, I just don't know how to say it, but he just started becoming more and more withdrawn. And I just don't know what happened.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it is what it is. Holy shit, he beat Dzankik 3 times, and he never lost to him.
Yeah.
Dzankik never beat him in his entire ending his career in the Pontiac Duelist League.
What were your thoughts on creating the Pontiac Duelist League Tag Team Championship on December 12th of 07?
So, ever since Anubis joined in November, him and Executioner lobbied hard to get a tag team championship in the Pontiac Duelist League. I mean, they pushed hard at every event. They were asking for a tag team title to be done.
Yep.
And I'm like, no, I don't think we have enough people. No, we don't have enough teams. This isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. And then finally I'm like, okay, fine. I'll let you be the tag team champions. I will create a tag team title. I will let you guys have it on one condition. You duel me and Root Beer Guy immediately after being awarded the title. And they did, to their credit. I mean, they accepted, and they ended up losing that duel, but I got to give them credit where credit's due. I mean, they wanted it so bad that they were willing to take on the two of us in a tag duel to try and prove themselves, and it was a close duel. It wasn't like it was a dominant duel on either side. It was close down to the fucking wire.
Yep.
Root Beer Guy, I think, won the duel for our team. But yeah, that's... I gotta give them props because when it's put up or shut up, they put up.
Fair enough. What were your thoughts on Wolfbane returning to the Pontiac Duelist League on January 3rd of 08 and bringing Demon with him?
Well, it's like an old returning duelist, good. I never had a problem with Wolfbane, so it's like, great. We have someone who I know at the time who's good. Demon, he was actually someone who, in the last video, I had known a little bit from the original league in Chautauqua Park, but I did not have much conversation with him. They ended up beating me and Root Beer Guy for the tag team titles on that day. So their debut, they get the tag belts. So it's like, okay, there's something here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't last.
What were your thoughts on Dazankick and Sigma V winning the Pontiac Duelist League Tag Team Champion, defeating Root Beer Guy and Shotgundude?
Well, there was a flood in Pontiac that January, a bad flood.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So half the town was cut off.
Yep.
So we decided to have a Pontiac Duelist League event on our side of town and everything. I can't get a hold of Demon or Wolfbane because they're on, across the bridge and all that shit. So there's no way to get to them.
Yeah.
So I can't get a hold of them. I have Root Beer Guy, Executioner, myself, Zankick, and Sigma. We're all here at this event, so it's like, okay, I'm going to give Root Beer Guy and Executioner a shot as tag team champions. They'll defend against Sigma and Zankick, and then hopefully they'll take on Demon and Wolfbane at the next event. The duel was it was about a 20-minute duel. Once again, it was competitive between Executioner, Root Beer Guy, and Dazankick, but not so much on Sigma's end. He was trying to do a solar flare lock and not really getting anywhere with it. In fact, I think Dazankick's the one who won it for the team and everything. But unfortunately, after that, it was 148 days of Dazankick and Sigma V doing nothing with the tag team titles. Absolutely fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Like, Dazankick completely, after this event, backed off attending events. I don't recall. I think he may have shown one more event, which was the unification duel, and I think that was it. And it's like, it was embarrassing. I mean, two of our longest tenured duelists, and both of them are being non-cooperative in this incident.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we had just created a tag team title, and then we have 148 days of nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. What were your thoughts on Extreme Elimination 3 on February 5th of 08, and Dazankick no-showing the event when he was the PDL National Championship? You went to defeating Shotgundude, Lord Anubis, Root Beer Guy, and Demon.
All right, and that was February
5th.
5th. That is accurate. We set up the event in advance, like a week or two. Dzankik, when I call him, we've gotten everyone else together and everything. He's like, no, I don't think I'm going to go. And it's like, you're the champion, in my mind. It's like, you're not coming? And he's like, no, I'm not going to. They can have the championship or whatever. I'm just not going. I just don't feel like showing up. Tried to get a hold of Sigma. He didn't answer. Tiger King had work, which was understandable and everything. But it's like when we plan these events out ahead of time and everything like this, trying to get people there and then they don't show up, well, it hurts not only them, but it hurts the group as a whole.
Yeah.
So, Anubis cashed in a championship opportunity that he had for the World Championship on the vacant title in that duel to get the title before the duel even started. So he ended up going into the duel as PDL National Champion. It didn't last because the starting players were Anubis and Executioner, and within 3 turns, Anubis beat Executioner. So I had 18 turns against Anubis by myself. I got Exodia, and then by that point, I just had enough of a board to just body everyone else. But then Executioner used his little money in the bank contract on me after the duel had finalized, but not after championships had been handed out, and then took me down. So I'm recognized as winning the duel, but not as keeping
the belt,
the championship.
I thought it was a good idea.
It was. It really was. I got to give them credit on that one because it's like, my cards are still on the table. I'm doing some talking and everything after the duel with people, and he's like, pulls out the contract. He's like, I'm cashing in, and I'm like, look at the table, see my cards. Fuck. I have to play with my current board state, and he comes in fresh. And with a way better draw than he had against Anubis, so good on him. He won. I gotta give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, fair enough. What were your thoughts on Root Beer Guy's mother passing away February 14th of 08?
Heartbreaking. Totally fucking heartbreaking. I had known her for years. One of the nicest ladies I had ever met. I knew she had some health problems in the past, but I didn't know that it was that bad. I tried getting a hold of him for over 2 weeks, and then no answer. So it started to worry me. Yeah. I almost got to the point of going over to his house to find out what was going on with him. And then I finally get a hold of the boyfriend that Travis's mom had at the time. He's like, she passed away, I'm sorry. He's living with his dad now, gave the phone number, and that's how I recontacted Root Beer Guy. And that's how Red Tail Hawks Duelist League, or Red Hawks Duelist League, whatever name they want to call it, was set up, and everything was because he was hardcore champion, his mom had passed. I didn't want to take it away, so we split the hardcore title into 2 separate titles. You have the RDL Championship now and the PDL Hardcore Championship, which would be vacant after that. Let me see what happened to it exactly on that early date. March 1st, that's not far enough ahead. Shit. Sorry about that. Yeah, Root Beer Guy had it all the way through there. And then Executioner was awarded the vacant Hardcore Championship on the 3rd of March. And then that would end up being dueled for against me. And then that would be unified with the reactivated Kankakee Duelist League Championship. But I think that might be talk for a bit more later on. So go ahead and...
Who came up with the plan to unify the Pontiac Duelist League, Red Hawks Duelist League, and Mexican National Duelist League Championships to establish a world championship?
That was myself and Tyrant Dragon Slayer. We wanted to have a world champion because we felt that Konami wasn't doing it right, because you win a world tournament. You're not a world champion, in my opinion, because you never defend it. Yeah, you win a Swiss format tournament, and you may or may not face players all around the globe And at the same time, it's like you never defend it. You never have to prove that you deserve what you got.
You're the winner, that's it.
Yeah. You're a tournament winner. You don't have any weight behind you other than that. It's air, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But on that subject, though, it was actually going a little bit further. The reason why the Kankakee Duelist League Championship got reactivated was actually, I think, because of Executioner. Because he's like, you know what? We had another league territory that had a championship. I know we already unified it into the PDL championship. Why not bring it back for this?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, he made a solid argument. So we brought it back, and then the Hardcore Championship was unified into the Kankakee Duelist League Championship. So that, for the longest time, would replace the Hardcore Championship all the way through...
I remember correctly, I felt the Hardcore Championship had been played out too much.
Oh, yeah.
And we just needed an update on it.
Yeah, so by switching it out with the KDL title, it gave us another championship for that unification duel to add weight to it.
Exactly.
Even though with what we found out with the Kankakee Duelist League in between, the titles being handed over, and now it's like, okay, so Nightmare never really had a league except for 3 weeks after it was going. The championships that were, air quotes, handed over to me had no connection to that or whatever. So it's like, fine, we'll make them worth something.
Yeah.
And it's like, it came from this guy directly. I dueled him. I beat him. So it's like, it has that weight to it too. So, yeah. And the Hardcore Championship would sit vacant until July 23rd. So, go ahead with your next thing.
What were your thoughts on Wolfbane's sudden, unexpected absence from PDL?
What the fuck? Because it's like he's attending events pretty regularly. He misses the Extreme Elimination event, which was also odd. It was just really weird. And this is how Demon kind of sneaked his way into being an executive, because he tried to link the online Nightmare issue with Wolfbane. He tried to make it look like, oh, this guy's involved, when he's not really involved. The truth of the matter is, which we found out later, is that he had actually stolen Wolfbane's phone, and he had stolen his deck from him when he was at his house. And he sold his deck to someone else, which I don't remember who he sold it to. But it's like, what? When we found out, like, we didn't find out about this till like 2009 or 10. And it's like, and Demon essentially went from having a Hall of Fame talking about storybook kind of like career to, we're not going to talk about him that much, and that's why I really haven't brought him up in this point in time, even though he was an active competitor. What he did outside of the group is just so unforgivable that it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Scum deserve no place.
That's fair. What were your thoughts on Sigma V wanting to fire Lord Anubis?
Overblown bullshit. Anubis is showing up every event. Sigma's not. He's not there in this entire time frame. He's no-showing. He's not participating. And it's like, and you're saying you have say over me firing Anubis? Are you kidding me? It's like, you're not here.
Yeah.
He wanted him gone because he thought he was a threat to him.
Definitely. Like, Anubis could beat him.
Yeah. Pretty regularly, it seems like.
Yep.
He had the perfect foil to Sigma's Solar Flare Dragon deck, because he knew you take out those Solar Flare Dragons, he ain't going to be hitting you with effect damage as much.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on Sigma V using an illegal deck and having his title win reversed, yeah, sorry, on May 26th of 08?
Yeah, that happened. He used one of my decks and everything, and initially it wasn't supposed to be for the championships. Well, Sigma decided, let's make it for the championships. So Demon and Executioner were dueling us, we won the duel because, well, Sigma's using one of my decks, and then afterwards they're like, wait a second, he used your deck. It couldn't have been for the championship. And I'm like, you know what? You are right. That is in the contract. You are 100% right. It never should have been for the championship. So I reversed the decision on that. Sigma was fucking pissed about that too. Because it's like, I fucking won that duel. Yeah, but you did it illegally.
Yeah.
So it's like, you did not use a deck that was your property. It's like, fuck them. And it's like, no, it's the rules.
That's literally.
We made them for a reason. We have to abide by them. The screw up is on our part. And then a rematch was held, tag team duel, on June 4th, and Sigma would end up winning the PDL championship. I would win the KDL championship. Root Beer Guy was still RDL champion. Unfortunately, I don't think he was defending it at all during this time. So I can't really say much about that championship. I have no records of RDL before the June 11th date. So I can't say what was or wasn't done with it. And then because of the shakeup with the championships and everything, the titles were supposed to be locked the end of March or the end of May. But we ended up having to have that emergency match June 4th, and MNDL had to pick Demon as their new representative because the guy who they originally picked has a championship now. So that got thrown a little bit into a loop. I know that also with MNDL, Tyrant Dragon Slayer lost his championship to Peppercat. Let me pull that up. Find MNDL. I'm on the wrong championship. That's why I won't find it. Yeah, sorry. I got all these different records.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Find next. Find next. He would lose the title to Peppercat on March 20th, 2008. So he had it for 166 days before his reign ended. And then, yeah, she got the title. So the representative that MNDL's members picked was Demon, who had previously been Pontiac Duelist League champion, and he had been champion for 77 days during this tenure. So he went with who in his mind was the strongest guy recently to have a championship win going into this unification duel. So that's the entire mess that happened, when we were supposed to be locked in going this direction, and then we have to kind of backpedal and readjust.
Spot. There it is. What were your thoughts on Root Beer Guy defeating you, Sigma V, Demon, to become the first world champion on June 11th of 08?
Okay, well, for this event, we had actually done something special. Do you remember where the driver's ed room used to be in the rec center?
Oh, yeah.
So we actually rented that room out and everything for that event. So I paid actual, 50-something bucks for the 3 hours or whatever that I had rented it for. But I got Dzankic to actually show up to that one, because it's like, hey, this is a big thing. I want you to be here. It's like, yeah, you know what? I'll show up and everything. And it took a little bit of work to actually get him to, actually attend. And it's like, you're also tag team champion. Come on, just show up to this one. Sigma V had forced me into a position where I had to do a Lord Anubis because he didn't want Anubis at the event. And he said, so my hand was forced. It was either have Dzankic and Sigma there or have Anubis there. So I dueled Anubis and said, if you beat me in this, I'll let you attend. But if not, then we're unfortunately going to have to do it Sigma's way. He's like, this is total bullshit. And I'm like, I know. I know. And I'm like, but yeah. But he was understanding. He did lose the duel, so he wasn't able to attend. But he made me promise him just one thing. Just one thing going into that event. He said, whatever you do, beat Sigma for me. Whatever you do, take him down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I put my hand out there in front of him and I said, I promise you I will eliminate him no matter the cost. And I think Executioner might have even been there for that little thing too. But
I was more of a spectator at that time.
yeah.
I was picked up by, I believe, Sigma, and he brought me with.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the duel with me and Anubis.
Yeah.
Before that. Because he wasn't there for that one.
Yeah.
Once again, Sigma no-showing. Big surprise.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, yeah, the unification duel, I spent all this money. That's when I first got the initial rated R belt and was going to debut it. No one knew about the belt. Like, I had it at my house and everything, because it's like, afterwards I'm going to take photos of the winner with the belt and everything, and yeah. So, Root Beer Guy was RDL champion, and he defeated myself as KDL champion, Sigma V as Pontiac Duelist League National champion, and Demon, the MNDL appointed representative. The eliminations were Demon first. Before the event had happened and everything, when we had all got there, he decided that he would, talk a big game and be like, oh, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you first. I'm going to beat you second. I'm going to beat you third. He ran his mouth too much, and it was to the point where it's like, I promised Aaron I was going to beat Sigma first, but you know what? I'm going for this guy first. Yeah, wrecked Demon without any problem because it was 3-on-1, and it's like, why the fuck did you have to run your mouth like that? It's like, it was bad decision-making on his part. Sigma V, he ran a deck that I had never seen him run before. It was a Dark Lucius level deck.
Oh.
However, guess what the problem with Dark Lucius as a level deck is when you use level up?
What?
It doesn't get its fucking effect. It's only when it's special summoned by the effect of the previous Dark Lucius. Some of the level monsters have it in their effect that they get their effect if they're special summoned by the previous ones. Some don't.
Yeah.
Dark Lucius is one of the ones that it has to be. So its monster effect negation thing doesn't work. He thought that he could use monster effect negation to take down Obelisk, Slifer, and Ra, which it's like, it doesn't target the cards, so it cannot affect them. And his strategy collapsed like a house of cards because it's like, I got an excellent board. And I was able to just overpower him. And I didn't even use my Egyptian gods against him to overpower and defeat him in that duel. And then Root Beer Guy ended up winning because he got Clock Tower Prison out, and he managed to banish one of my Exodia pieces. So I can't get Exodia, I can't punch through him, and he's got a full field of monsters, and
yeah,
I can't win. I decked out because I have Pot of Greed, I have Graceful Charity, I have more draw power in his deck than he does. He's running a 50-card deck too, but he's recycling stuff. I'm not.
Yeah.
Because I don't have Pot of Avarice or any of that stuff yet. So it's like... And I can't have Exodia, so...
Yeah.
I can't damage him. Executioner was there for that duel. He saw everything, so he can... Anything you want to add about the Fatal 4-Way?
No, it was funny to watch, though.
It was,
It was a clusterfuck, if I've ever seen one.
It was, but I kept my promise to Anubis. That was the main thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on Sigma V walking out of the event with the Zankick losing the Pontiac Duelist League Tag Team Champion via forfeit?
Okay, so the Fatal 4-Way wraps up. We're having the tag team titles. It's going to be Executioner and Demon versus Zankick and Sigma V. And then one turn into the duel, they walk out.
Okay.
It's just so disappointing that Zankick ended his career like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't know what to say, honestly, because it's like, for the great duelist that he was, and for the great friend that he was, for him to just detach from... Because he was like a brother to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, for him to just detach and walk away, and to this day, it's still like, I don't get it. It's like, what did I do wrong? Why are we not friends anymore? Because it's like, I never had a problem with him. Not once. So it's like, why are you doing this? So they get up and walk off. Executioner and Demon are tag team champions, and me and Root Beer Guy are like, let's not end it this way. Let's continue. So we jumped in the duel after they had their first turn. They had their board set up and everything, going in as the new tag team champions against us, and we managed to defeat them after a lot of uphill battling on that one because they controlled the majority of that tag duel.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, to finish off the June 11th event, was the NWO Championship matches. Let me get down to where I need to be on this thing. June 11th, 08. Demon would be awarded the championship because we had unified it with the PDL National Championship. It sat unified for 63 days on April because when we were making the World Championship, we wanted all of our championships into the PDL or the KDL Championship. So there were only those two titles in PDL.
Yeah.
Nothing else aside from the tag. Like, RDL only had their one championship. MNDL, I don't remember if they unified their hardcore into their MNDL championship or not. I think they might have, but don't quote me on that because I don't, have the emails anymore, unfortunately, because different internet service provider, which went from Earthlink to People PC, well, then you lose everything that way. Demon was awarded the title. He defeated me. And then Executioner defeated Demon in the follow-up match. So he walked away with the championship. So credits to Executioner on ending 2 careers that day because it's,
At that point, it wasn't career ending.
At that point, it wasn't, no. But
it was just a victory.
That was just the start of it. That was, the beginning of something, but we didn't know what quite at the point.
What were your thoughts on Dazankick and Demon both having their final duels against Shotgundude on June 11th of 08?
Pretty much the same thing. It was the beginning of the Executioner, but we didn't know it was the Executioner. I mean, I never expected Dazankick to have his final duel the way that he had. And then Demon, after this, started pulling his... Whenever I would call him, he would just hang up on me. Whenever I would call, he would hang up on me. Then I finally got a hold of his mom and was like, what's going on with your son? And she's like, oh, he had his cards stolen, so he won't be showing up anymore. Come to find out later, he sold all of his cards. Because, I don't know if it was because he ran his mouth and got humbled or whatever, but he decided he didn't want to be in the Pontiac Duelist League anymore. So... You also throw in the fact that he stole a player's deck and cell phone. Fuck him. We didn't need him.
Yep. What were your thoughts on Root Beer Guy as world champion?
Could have been better. He wasn't a bad world champion by any stretch. He did have a couple title defenses against myself and I think against maybe Kappa W. I know he had at least 2 in his run before he lost the title in Extreme Elimination, but he wasn't bad, but at the same time, it's like he wasn't performing quite as well as I thought he would.
Yeah. What was the plan going forward with the Pontiac Duelist League and the Red Hawks Duelist League after the event?
All right, my plan was that I wanted us to be unified and create a centralized group, kind of like what DSF is to the Pontiac Duelist League and Only Heritage Duelist League. I wanted to have a group that we could be an umbrella under, and he had his own group now. So it's like, we need a charter and for both groups.
Yeah.
So what happened is that my old bank that I used to go to, they had an appreciation dinner, and we had 3 tickets for that. Because Chaos wasn't here. Root Beer Guy got his ticket, and then we went together. We talked for over 3 hours that day, hashing out the details of what RDL and PDL would do jointly, separately, all that stuff, and then go forward with it. Because I wanted to have an online presence, and I had talked to some people, but computers aren't really my thing. So it's like when Root Beer Guy suggested, hey, we can use my friend Kappa W. He knows about websites and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, I'll meet with the guy and everything. And then when he reminded me who he was someone who I'd met previously, which Kappa W and me had met when Root Beer Guy graduated. So it's like, okay, this is good. I know this guy. I can work with this guy. However, unfortunately, that wasn't the case in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of talking that had to happen that day because we needed to come up with a battle plan going forward because I wanted to work with him very closely and keep, the connection there with him and our group.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on the first meeting with the Red Hawks Duelist League members on June 23rd of 07?
I thought it went pretty good. Like, I went to Root Beer Guy's house before that, and then he brought me over. The first guy who I met was Chaos Ninja, real friendly guy, never had a bad thing to say about Chaos Ninja. He never did me any wrong whatsoever, so I gotta give him props where credit's due. And then I met Cap W, talked with him. We talked about our plan for creating an umbrella group for PDL and RDL. He gave us this idea for the Central Illinois League, which it's like, okay, we'll put you in charge of the site. We'll put you in charge of the bylaws. Pontiac Duelist League will be the primary territory in it. And then we'll have all the subsidiary territories included as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was pretty much the deal.
What were your thoughts on winning Extreme Elimination number 4?
Who were the participants again on that one?
It would be you, Root Beer Guy, Shotgundude, Kappa W, and Chaos Ninja.
Alright, so Sigma V no-showed this event too. Because he was supposed to be there. Dzankic wasn't, because just the feeling that I got from him being at the previous one, it's like, yeah. Tiger King, I wanted to have him there at the Extreme Elimination event. He was unavailable. I'm trying to think. Lord Anubis was also unavailable because of a family issue, I think, at the time. Because I wanted to have as many of our guys there as possible, but it's just with so many schedule conflicts and everything, we weren't able to get everyone there that needed to be there. Extreme Elimination 4 was an interesting one, to say the least. Let me pull up my Extreme Elimination record real quick, because that one was a little bit wonky as far as I remember. Executioner, what do you remember about that one?
Not much that day, really.
Right.
It was a blur.
Let's see if any of this jogs your memory. PDL Tag Team Champion Hollywood Big Boss defeated Undisputed World Tag Team Champion Root Beer Guy, Kappa W, Chaos Ninja, New World Organization Executioner. Root Beer Guy surrendered on the first turn, which it's like, what the fuck, dude? I mean, of all the ways to end your title reign, surrendering turn 1. Kappa W defeated Executioner on the 22nd turn. So it was those two in the duel for 22 turns, going back and forth until Kappa W finally defeated Executioner.
Mm-hmm. It was a dragged out knockout match.
And you were against him and Chaos Ninja 2-on-1 for a good amount of time, because Chaos Ninja came in on the 14th turn, and you were able to hold them off till the 22nd turn.
Yep.
I got in on the 23rd turn, so my natural turn that I was supposed to come in. I knocked out Kappa W on turn 26, and I knocked out Chaos Ninja on turn 29. Kappa W actually didn't give me nowhere near as much trouble as Chaos Ninja.
I probably whittled most of his resources out of his deck at that point.
Probably, because you two were in the duel the longest, and that makes the most sense to me looking at this, that you were able to wear him down so bad to where I was able to just 3 turns later just stomp.
Mm-hmm.
I also wasn't using my normal deck for this duel. I was using my Roid/Cyber Dragon deck, so machines with more machines plus Chimera Tech over Dragon. Well, I get a fuck ton of attacks and you can't do shit, and I play limiter removal and all your shit's in attack mode. Well,
it did.
It did.
It game.
And I think that surprised a lot of people that I wasn't using my main deck in this, which, was my Valkyrie Dark Magician deck at the time.
I believe you actually told me you weren't using it that day.
Yeah, because I was the one to pick you up because Sigma wasn't returning my calls.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on the World Championship Duelists of Roses matches against Shotgundude on July 7th and July 16th of 08?
All right, so July 7th, we had wanted to tape the duel and put it up online. But here's the problem. The July 7th one, the DVD corrupted. So we had to do a second one on the 16th, which was my scheduled title match against Kappa W. So we had to come to my house again that day before the event, tape an hour-long duel on the DVD recorder again. Hey, it was a good duel, so,
Too long.
The only downside is Executioner trying to use Dark Hole when I had my white hole up and his didn't trip.
Yeah.
So he wiped out his entire field and I still had mine. It kind of did suck that we had to retape the duel because the first one was a better duel, but you can't really control when a DVD doesn't record properly.
That is true.
So, it was what it was. And I'm still pretty happy with those duels that I had against Executioner because he always pushed me whenever we played in that game.
Push. Yes, that's the term. When you spawn the ultimate in-your-face card.
Exodia?
No.
Oh, Gate Guardian for you.
Mine was Giga. No. I'm talking about Magician of fucking Faith.
Oh, yeah. Jack her up to all nines.
Oh.
That was funny. It's like I got a 999 against your Gate Guardian.
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah, but you don't take damage, so it don't matter.
But it's still like...
It was only 300!
You spent too much time doing this.
Why?
To flex, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on losing the World Championship to Kappa W just 15 days later?
Oh, 15 days after I had won it. Okay,
Yeah.
Sorry about that. It took me just a second. I was hoping that would be the start of, new people getting a hold of the championship, growing as duelists. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Honestly, in this situation, I think I made the mistake of playing the deck that I had in the Extreme Elimination, which was the Royd Chimera Tech deck, which does great in multi-way duels, but it sucks so hard in one-on-ones. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I can admit that I have a deck that's great one way, but it absolutely sucks if you're playing it one-on-one.
Yep.
He knows about it too. He's played that deck.
Mm-hmm. What were your thoughts on Kappa W then losing the World Championship 7 days later to Sigma V?
This was before Sigma V was using the deck that I had recreated of his high school deck. So it's like he beat him with his volcanic deck.
Mm-hmm.
Let this sink in. You know how a volcanic deck runs and everything, right, Alistar?
It's more like a... it surely runs.
Yeah, and let that marinate in your mind for a minute. And Executioner went up against that deck too of Sigma's. But it's like he used the volcanic deck to defeat Kappa W. Just think about how bad Kappa's deck had to have been to lose to a volcanic deck. But then again, that deck beat my Royd deck, but then again, it's built for multi-ways, not one-on-ones, so it has that disadvantage going in. But still, Sigma V's volcanic deck won the world championship.
That seemed fishy. Because that deck was shit.
It's volcanics. It's literally just a flaming pile of shit.
Exactly.
That's what you're doing, is throwing shit at the wall.
It's like and I remember W's deck was much better than that.
Yeah. Well,
Like, how the fuck did you lose to that? Did you draw all spells or something? Because seriously, I'm like, the fuck?
yeah, that... Not a very good archetype.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the escalation of the online conflict with Nightmare?
Same thing as I said earlier, me taking my eyes off the ball when I should have been focused on Pontiac Duelist League. And I'll get into later who was really behind that bullshit.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't know if I can say for certain if these two guys who originally started it were the same people who were perpetrating it at the moment. Because whenever people were blocked on this forum and everything, it would list their IP address and ban the IP address for so much time. Mm-hmm. The IP address changed so it wasn't a constant IP address that they were using. Well, all the IP addresses that were blocked were all from Fairbury. So it's like, why are guys from up in Bradley, Bourbonnais, Kankakee having Fairbury IP addresses?
Yeah.
Does that send some red flags your way a bit?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on Kappa W replacing the Red Hawks Duelist League with the Central IL League?
Well, it happened so, under the table that I didn't realize that that's what he was really doing, was replacing RDL with this. With the agreement that I had with Travis, any changes to RDL had to be approved by myself and PDL. Sigma was making his non-committal, non-appearance stuff pretty clear, so it was me, Root Beer Guy, making a lot of the decisions. Executioner was getting a little bit involved. Anubis was getting way more involved just because of his knowledge with business and stuff like that. So,
I just want to ask for opinions.
Yeah. And good or bad, it's good to have your opinion because it's like, that way I can kind of gauge, direction on things.
Yep.
So that's where it was.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on the first Central IL League event on October 12th of 08?
Didn't attend, didn't show up. Executioner, anything to say? You weren't there either?
Nope.
Next question.
Alrighty. What were your thoughts on the second Central IL League event on December 28th of 08?
All right, so Kappa W was in charge of both these events. Originally, I was under the impression that Root Beer Guy hosted the first event, Kappa did the second. That was apparently not true. It was Kappa running both events. Kappa W's big thing about this was that, because we had an uneven number of people, the second event was a clusterfuck, and his guys were so understanding about having an uneven number of people for a tournament that they forgave him for this problem. Time out here. Let's do a head count, shall we? Myself, Root Beer Guy, that's 2. Chaos Ninja, Kappa W, that's 4.
Yep.
Alistar, and then
I was?
No. Aster Phoenix. It was his full username, but I just call it Aster. And that because he was ripping off the Yu-Gi-Oh character, and Sartorius, which he was ripping off Sartorius.
Okay.
So they took usernames for Yu-Gi-Oh characters. It's like, why? Why not do something more original? But 6 people, right? In what universe is 6 an uneven number? Please, someone answer that for me.
No, I can't.
When 5 is an even number.
That's impossible.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In every universe possible. That would cause the space-time continuum self.
Yeah, it's like, how is 6 an odd number of people? It's like, that's the list of people that I have on my records. How is it an odd number of people? It doesn't make sense. The duels were, Root Beer Guy and Chaos Ninja dueled in a match duel, and they decided to end their match with the rock, paper, scissors game for who would advance, which was what the fuck? It's a dueling thing. What the hell? Sartorius destroyed Aster like it wasn't even a contest because Aster was using a banished deck, and Sartorius, I don't remember what deck he was using, but it was like the ultimate foil to a banished deck. Whatever he was doing, it just helped him.
Oh, Gren Maju, maybe? The card that gains attack points equal to the amount of banished cards?
Could have been, but I don't remember entirely what his deck was. I remember Aster's deck because other reasons, which I'll get into later.
Yeah.
I dueled Kappa W one-on-one. First duel, I took 1,000 damage from my own Chaos Emperor Dragon, so I had 7,000 life points. W had Zip. And then second duel, I had 8,000 life points, and Kappa W has Zip. And he tries to make the argument, oh, Hollywood lost like a noob and has no skill. Timeout. I beat you with 7,000 and 8,000 life points, respectively, in my duels against you. I don't see how I have no skill when I bodied you like a rank amateur. And this is when W started using a spell counter deck. And Executioner's beating his head against the table out of sheer stupidity.
Yep.
Let me just put it to you this way. If this was a court case your dad was running, and he's like, the person who you're defending is guilty. And then on camera, it shows a woman shooting the guy, and it's your dad's defending a guy. And it's like, as you can clearly see, that is a woman on camera shooting this person.
Not a guy.
Not a guy. The person used a 44 Magnum, which we got from this guy. The bullet hole is from a 38 Special. The prosecution would be disbarred for incompetence.
Basically.
Which is essentially what this thing was. In Kappa W's infinite wisdom, he decides to match up Aster, who lost his duel so badly against me. I'm running a chaos control kind of deck. He's running a banish deck. Which, what happens to a chaos deck when it goes against the banish deck?
Chaos wins.
Chaos just wins.
No, I couldn't banish anything.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, shit.
You couldn't get anything out.
No. Granted, it did have Mill in the deck too, so I was able to get his deck down both times. Like, I made him really work for killing me. Like, I mean, I really made him struggle to kill me in these duels.
Yeah.
And then the finals of the tournament was Aster and Sartoris dueling again, and second verse same as the first. And yeah, it's not even worth talking about. He just bodied him again. I wanted to duel Sartoris, and then all of a sudden after their duel's done, they just want to leave. So the guy who I'm waiting months to duel, who's the RDL champion, I want to duel, one-on-one, and then all of a sudden they finish their duel. Oh, we gotta leave. A little bit fishy to me.
Yeah.
There might have been other circumstances, but from my opinion, it was really suspicious. What else do you have to say on this one? Or is there more to this train wreck that we've been experiencing?
No, I think we've hit a pretty good chunk of it.
Why did Lord Anubis and Shotgundude cancel attending the event?
Okay, so I'll go first and then I'll let Executioner answer. Originally, the event was supposed to be booked by me. I had booked Extreme Elimination, which we would have our 5th Extreme Elimination. We'd have all of the Pontiac Duelist League active members against RDL's active members, and we'd have an 8-on-8 duel. Yep. So it would be both groups get to see who the best is, and random number pulls. And then respective championships we'd figure out from there. But then all of a sudden halfway through the month, and Kappa W changes it to, oh, I want to have an advanced format Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. We don't have any advanced format Yu-Gi-Oh decks.
Yeah.
Try again. So he's like, okay, how about traditional format? Okay, I can handle that. I know Lord Anubis on his end, he was fucking pissed. Because he's like, so, wait a second. This is a PDL, RDL co-promoted event. Yes. Are any of the championships on the line? Not anymore. So, let me get this straight. How is this guy able to override your booking? Apparently, yeah, that's a good question. How did he override my booking? Because Anubis was just like, why the hell are you showing up to this? I'm not going to this garbage. He's like, I don't want to be there. If this is what the start of what they're doing is going to be, it's not worth attending. But my mindset is, I'm booked for something, I show up. I do my job. When I'm, I say I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. Yeah. I give my word. Now, Executioner, you can give your take on it.
After I heard everything, I was just again, I agree with Lord of Noomps on that. At the same time, like, I have no decks like that. So,
No advanced format ones?
no advanced, no regular. So I was just straight for like, fuck it. And I just decided not to go.
And yeah, that's pretty much why. It's like you changed the book on us and we're not happy with it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be co-promotion, not you promoting over us.
Why did you strip Sigma V of the Pontiac Duelist League World Championship on December 28th of 08?
Oh boy. This is going to be a fun one.
Oy.
Okay, this I gotta go forward a bit to like October, I think 29th or 30th of 2009. I was informed by someone outside the group that Sigma V had asked Kappa W to cancel his Pontiac Duelist League championship match via MySpace at 2:54 a.m. on December 28th, 2008. Just so that way you know I'm not bullshitting. This is a screenshot from Kappa W's MySpace at 2:54 a.m. on MySpace.
Yep.
And let me read this off just so that way you know. It's like, from Sigma. The problem is I've been waiting a while to do this and I don't want to have my title lost just because of one thing. I know this is asking a lot, but is this possible for you to come to Pontiac early so we can get this dough the right way? Which I think he meant done the right way.
Probably.
Which it's like, timeout. Sigma knew that this event was not going to be in Pontiac. We were going to be driving to their place. He knew it for over a month. Why is he saying on here, come to Pontiac? And then his response afterwards, because I can't see Sigma's wall on MySpace because he had his account private, he's like, okay, I thought it was a PDL thing still. So if I'm not at risk of losing anything, I'll just sit this one out and fight in something that's worth my time. And I didn't find out about this until talking to Sigma's friend in Bradley. Actually, it was Kankakee, Illinois at the Walmart. Because I have the address on my phone for that one that I looked up recently. But it's like, timeout. We had this whole talk a few days before about us defending both of our championships, the Pontiac Duelist League and NWO championships, title for title at this event to show them up. And then all of a sudden you're coming up with this bullshit story to him? He knew that it was not in town. He knew. So it's like, this, yeah. Why not strip him of the title?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to let him hold on to this thing if he's going behind my back and everyone else's and lying to W to try and keep it when, yeah.
Yeah. What was the purpose of the Extreme Elimination 5 videos?
You could go ahead and list who the people were.
People were Sigma V, HollywoodBigBoss, Shotgundude, Root Beer Guy, and Kappa W.
Okay, so I just wanted to do some small promotional videos just to kind of show who our duelists were and everything and give them an idea that, hey, we're doing this event. Kind of try and hype it up and everything, get people to get interest in it. Sigma V's video was basically Sigma V saying, oh, everyone sucks, I'm going to win, you shouldn't even try. Root Beer Guy was just him swinging around a wooden sword, not answering any questions, just making threatening gestures at the camera. That was Root Beer Guy to a T, so it's like, yeah. Executioner, still being Shotgundude. I'll win with luck, a lithograph card, 3 gods, and get damn ass lucky.
Nope.
And it's like, the way that he did it was just so, happy and cheery, but they finishes with telling everyone to die in the duel. He's like, you suck, Sigma. Die.
Die.
It's like, you all suck. Drop dead.
But his was funny.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. Mine, I did a little bit more serious. I did it more... Like, this was more the beta of my heel character that I have now in Duelist Sans Frontières and NW 2.0. This was me just kind of finding myself as that character, being like, okay, I don't want to be me on camera. I want to be Hollywood Big Boss. I want to show people that I am this manipulative, kind of like slow, thought-out, methodical villain. Kind of like Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men, combined with like Harley Race and Triple H, that kind of thing. That slow, methodical delivery. Like, you know what he's going to do. You know what's going to happen. He's telling you what he's going to do. But he's going to do it. And I was willing to say what I was going to say because I felt like I could back it up. Then we get to Kappa W's little video, and he opens this thing with, well, I'm going to be at this PDL thing, and if you're in CILD League, you probably shouldn't watch this video. Come to think of it, if you're in the Pontiac Duelist League, you probably shouldn't watch this either. And it's like, are you kidding me? And then one by one, he ripped apart Sigma's video being like, oh, you should be more humble. Root Beer Guy's like, yeah, you did a good job, and Root Beer Guy was in the background. He laughed at Executioner being like luck and saying that he had no skill, relying on God cards as a noob thing. And it's like, that's what our entire league's built on. It's like, you obviously weren't paying attention to anything that I was saying. And then my video, which he tried to hang himself, because mine was about like 3 or 4 minutes long because the way that I did my methodical delivery and everything. I wanted people to be like, oh, I want to see him get his ass kicked in this duel. But W just decided to be a piece of crap and just, try and bury us. And he's like, oh, I'm probably going to lose this duel anyway, blah, blah, blah. And it was just, his video was the most pointless out of all of them because it did nothing to help anyone. It only served to try and hurt us on a public level.
What were your thoughts on the Pontiac Duelist League hosted event in Invasion?
It would have been Evolution, actually. So that's the wrong title. Invasion was the June 11th, 08 one. So wrong things on there.
And this would be January 25th of 09.
Go and list off the matches.
You got the Hardcore Championship, Chaos Ninja versus Anubis versus Shotgundude versus Root Beer Guy.
First duel. This guy wins right here, sitting to my right. Executioner dominated all of them. All of them.
Fair enough.
I cannot say enough about that. He proved that he was getting there. And it's just like for Cap W to say the things that he was saying about Executioner when he had never really had any interaction aside from 1 or 2 instances with the guy. It's like, are you kidding me? This is one of the best duelists we have. And for the opening duel, for him to just be like, bam, I win.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you, argue with that? It's like, he did excellent in that contest.
That makes sense. Extreme Elimination number 5. You were the winner of it.
Yeah, I'm going to start off with saying that there was a big issue. Sigma V during this time had started using a deck that was my property. He wasn't happy with his Volcanic deck anymore. He wasn't happy with his Warrior Zombie deck anymore because they just weren't performing the way he wanted them to. He wanted me to rebuild his high school kind of era deck after seeing the deck that I had built of the Zankicks. So I'm like, okay. I gave him a number, which it was American cards combined with Japanese. And he's like, no, I want all American cards. He wanted all English. It's like, okay, that's going to cost significantly more because the amount that I initially gave him was around like $50, $60 or whatever. So I went to this one website, which I had known for years. It's not there anymore. It was originally Mike Loda at SafeShopper.com back when it sold Digimon cards, back when that was big. Then they changed their name a little bit after a little while into the Yu-Gi-Oh card sale thing and everything. That's where I got a good chunk of the cards for that deck from. The total value of that deck was $237.19. And that was for everything, including an English Gate Guardian, which was a reprint, which was only silver lettering, but card values were significantly higher at the time.
Yeah.
The further we got into the Upper Deck Konami lawsuit, prices just went down, so I ended up taking a bath on this. But anyway, he promises me, yeah, you buy this, I'll pay you back and everything, and we'll get a little bit more into this later. So he was using a deck that he had promised to either buy off me or pay for, and he never did. Sigma V got all the eliminations. He did do a band card combination on turn 31 and was disqualified. The same turn, activating Ring Dragon of Ra's effect, he attacked, which you back then couldn't do because the effect of Ra was different. Mm-hmm. And then I would defeat Executioner on the 32nd turn to win the PDL World Championship. Executioner was awarded the New World Organization Championship for second place. All eliminations, I just want to say publicly, by Sigma V in this duel are treated as no contest because he was playing with a deck that was not his property.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where that stood. And then go ahead with the next duel.
Hardcore Championship, Shotgundude versus RDL World Championship, Root Beer Guy.
Look who the winner is again. What can you say?
It doesn't surprise me.
Honestly, what can you say? I mean, if it wasn't for a misplay on his part, he could have easily won Extreme Elimination.
Mm-hmm.
Easily.
Yeah.
There's nothing much to say. Like, he beat Travis badly. He beat Root Beer Guy really badly in that duel. He dominated him with his Harpy deck. And it's like, he's not even using his dragons or dinosaurs yet. Mm-hmm. He's only sticking to that main Harpy deck, which he can swarm him out with Hysteric Party, trash your entire back row, and then you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
I still have Battle Phase to play.
Exactly. And still tribute for Smord, too, or Ritual Monsters after that as well.
Yeah,
because you used Javelin Beetle and you 2 at the time. You were running Javelin Beetle
and Zero the Map.
Yep. You didn't get Mass Beast until a little bit later, which we'll get into a little bit.
Yeah. PDL Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way.
That duel was a fucking wash because, unfortunately, Sigma V, using a deck that is not his property.
Yep.
None of the eliminations count and everything. The PDL Tag Team Championships were vacant because Kappa W and Chaos Ninja had lost the titles on that October 12th event to Astar and Sartoris. They told us that they were not showing our event. They were going to show W's event, but they would not make our event ahead of time, way ahead of time. So it's like, okay, we split the tag titles. RDL has theirs, PDL has ours.
Yep.
And as a issue of Sigma V's illegal play action, the tag team championship would end up with Executioner and myself.
Mm-hmm. What were your thoughts on the physical altercation between Sigma V and Corvus in the PTHS, actually?
Okay, so there was a fight between the two. And what had happened is Corvus was talking about Mortal Kombat and everything, and Sigma just liked to bully the shit out of him. He did not like him. He did not want him in the group. It was about like Root Beer Guy, only way worse. But he fucking hated this guy. And it's like, dude, he's a nice guy. He's not a jackass. I don't get what you have against him.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he pretty much set up a situation where Corvus would get in trouble in high school. He threatened to kill him in the lunch area and everything. And Corvus threw a chair at him and backed away.
Mm-hmm.
So he threw a chair and was backing away from Sigma, who was coming at him.
Yeah.
Now, Sigma lied that he threw a chair and tried to attack him after that. Only problem is, like, you know about this. In Pontiac Township High School, we had a class, or had a class called Advanced Communications, right?
Yeah.
They do filming around the high school, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So guess what they caught on camera on one of those tapes?
That fight.
guess who was on the football team at the time? Corvus.
Corvus, yeah.
So guess who told me about that fight when I brought it up when I was at work to one of the high school football team members?
Who?
I think his name was Chase, and I think there was a guy named Dolph Nagel or something like that. Those were the two guys who I worked with. I knew Ryan was the older brother of the two Nagels. But anyway, it was the younger brother of the one guy and then that. But anyway, they're like, no, that's not what happened. I got showed some grainy, like, flipped cell phone video, which it's like, he threw the chair, but why is he backing away from him?
Yeah.
It's like, this doesn't make sense. And then I saw the actual, like, they actually took the camera out of the high school, which I don't know if you're supposed to do or not, and they had the tape in it. And they showed me at work that they're not lying.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
This is bad. Although this might have happened right, like the fight happened in between the first and second event, but I found out about him lying to me in between the second and third of these events and everything.
Okay. What were your thoughts on the Pontiac Duelist League event Evolution, hosted February 22nd of 09?
So I did exactly what Sigma asked me to do. I did not invite Lord Anubis to this event. Executioner, you weren't there. I think you were sick at the time, weren't you?
Yeah, that was flu season.
Yeah, so he wasn't there. He was down for a good 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, that was fun.
But anyway, the only people who showed up were myself, Sigma, Cap W, and Chaos Ninja. Root Beer Guy no-showed the event. And yeah, it was very small. Want to read off what the results were?
Yeah. You got PDL World Championship Hollywood Big Boss versus Sigma V, which ended in a draw.
Yep.
Sigma V defeats Chaos Ninja.
Yep.
And then Sigma V defeats Kappa W.
Yep.
That's it.
And that was it. And all of our work for a month for that. And after it's like, fuck this shit. I'm not doing your way of booking anymore, Sigma. It's like, we need bodies here. I don't care that you have issues with Anubis in your mind, made up or whatever. We need him there.
Yeah.
So it's like, and
I'm afraid of him.
And I just didn't understand why it's like you have this unnecessary, stupid issue with Anubis when he's one of the best duelists we got in the group.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, Kappa W had an issue with Lord Anubis as well. And it's like, I get it. He's younger, but he knows his cards better than anyone else in the group. He's the one guy who I sometimes go to on card rulings because he knows them so well and does his homework.
What were your thoughts on the Central League removing PDL as a associate on March 9th of 09?
What the fuck? First thought.
Fair.
Over the next month, I would have my account on that forum deleted 3 times. Let me put this out there publicly because people don't know about this. Each time that I had my account deleted off of that forum, Aster had logged in. Also, when we were removed as a associate of their group, we went from having a pretty good section of the forum dedicated to PDL and everything to having no section of the forum dedicated. I had my mod status demoted to the bottom moderator status on the forum, so I couldn't do anything anymore, really. So moderator in name only, that's it.
Yeah.
Red flags are going up in my head. It's like, this is really suspicious, and the fact that 3 times over the next month, my account gets messed with.
Yeah.
Gets deleted. And it's like, every time that I log in and my account's gone, this guy's on.
Yeah.
And it's like, care to tell me something about that?
Yeah, really.
And it's like, and he was the one guy out of that entire event that I respected the most.
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't get it.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the unholy stealth incident involving Sigma V and Jake?
Jake Stillskin?
Stillskin, yeah.
All right, let me tell you a little story. Jake Stillskin is a made-up person. He does not exist. I found this out from Tommy's, Sigma V's own brother. I found this out from Cindy, Sigma V's own mother. Mm-hmm. He made up this whole story where he went to juvenile hall for killing someone in self-defense. It didn't happen. It's not real. There were a bunch of stories that he was telling people around town like, oh, I burned down my entire backyard when I was young. Never happened. I jumped off my roof. I broke both my legs. Never happened. All of these different things that he's saying never happened. Mm-hmm. Sigma V was unholy stealth. It was him. He was trying to act like, oh, I'm going to kill and insert his real name here because he killed my friend. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and then Sigma tells me the story in person, and I believed him, but I should have checked with, his mom or brother because they would have instantly said, what the fuck? Because apparently this story got around town and everything, and now everyone knows that it's bullshit.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on your personal relationships with Kappa W and Sigma V at this time?
Deteriorating. Yeah. Like, completely fucking falling apart. And Sigma would be telling me one thing in person, and then when we would get together with Kappa W, he'd be parroting everything that Kappa W's saying. Oh, you should play MTG. I don't want to play that garbage. And just beating me over the fucking head with something that I have no love for, have no interest in. It's like, why are you bringing this up? I don't like this. You're not going to change my opinion. Let's get on another subject, please. It does not bring up pleasant memories for me.
Yeah.
And no matter what I said, they would not get it. They could not get it through their thick fucking heads that I wanted nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
I gotta give Jedi Ninja respect on this. He realizes that I have bad memories when it comes to that particular card game. I want nothing to do with it, so he doesn't bring it up against me. Mm-hmm. So, but it's like, if you have something that you don't like, why would you want to do that? So let me put this into something that Kappa W may understand. Because he likes metal music, right? Mm-hmm. So how would he like to listen to gangster rap instead? Like, how would you like to listen to a gangster rap album? Or how would you like to listen to a Barney album for an hour? It's like, would you really want to do that, W? Honestly, can you say that you'd want to do something that you don't like that much? Or listen to a Disney album for an hour?
I don't think some bangers on Disney. I'm just saying, like, you gotta.
I'm talking new Disney, not old. Fair enough. Good Disney is a different thing. I was like, no, I'm talking about the new garbage Disney that they're doing right now. Enough. It's like, no, you got to compare these things in the right mindset. It even got so bad that I got Lord Anubis to listen in on me and Sigma and me and Kappa's phone calls. Mm-hmm. And after the first call, I'll never forget, after I talked to both of them, Sigma was backing me up, and it's like, why didn't you back me up when we were with Sigma and all, when we were with Kappa and all that? And he's like, kind of gave me this bullshit reason, talked to Kappa later, which was about another 30-minute conversation, and then hung up. And then I'll never forget Anubis just being like, dude, they're fucking you.
Yeah.
They are just straight up screwing you. And he wasn't lying either. So from that point onward, whenever I would talk to Kappa or Sigma, I would always have him on the phone. Like, I would have him I'd call him first, be like, hey, I'm calling this guy. Can you please call my phone, like, at this time, and then I'll make it a conference call. And he would conference call and then mute his phone so that way he could listen to the entire conversation. Yeah. So it's like, let's put this out there. Your calls were being listened to, and not just by me, boy. We got you.
What was the purpose of the March 27th of 2009 New World Organization video with Shotgundude and Lord Anubis?
Alright, so that was the day that I had brought Shotgundude and Anubis to my house. Anubis was privy to some of the information going on. Shotgundude was not. Mm-hmm. Kappa W had sent multiple emails ripping on Executioner and everything.
for whatever reason.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, he's Sigma's friend. And he wasn't equating, because Sigma knew him. Mm-hmm. I was introduced to him by Sigma. And he wasn't equating any of that into it. And apparently, Sigma had thrown Executioner under the bus when W was involved too. Mm-hmm. So, I did the one thing which really shocked people. I typed in my email and password, and I showed them my emails. I showed them my cell phone. I showed them the text messages. Mm-hmm. And Executioner, you want to comment on that? Because you were pretty upset after that.
And
because it's like, he doesn't even fucking know me.
Exactly. I was like, what the fuck do you got to say about me? We've never really met much, if at all. Saying about being thrown under the bus, but I'm like, I'm used to that. He's been like that his whole life for Sigma, so I was like, it's something you're used to at this point.
So we decided to get a little bit of payback in our eyes. As you know, I was using a WCW replica big gold belt, which was one of the thinnest belts ever. The plates were probably this thick on it. And then you had like the trophy wrestlers and crown and that stuff. But anyway, so he was supposed to pay me for that belt, which was $150. Because it's like, we should get a new NWO championship because using a Jack Specific toy belt, it's gone on long enough. We need a new belt. He's like, okay, look for one. It's like, this one's cheap, $150 with free shipping and everything. I got it. He was supposed to pay me for it. I go for this. I'm trying to think. I would have gotten that belt in September of 2008. And here we are into March 2009, and I haven't been paid for it.
Oh, jeez.
I got to the point where it's like, I don't think I'm ever seeing my money. Fuck it. I'll get a new belt, one that looks better and everything. So we did the video where we dumped Sigma's belt in a Snoopy trash can, and then Shotgundude came out with the new NWO championship belt.
Yep.
And we pretty much said that we're going to beat you two in that tag duel and everything. And I made no bones about it, that it's like, we don't think this is worth it. Like, you're devaluing everything that, you know, we're trying to do together. Like, it's obviously not an equal partnership like I thought it was supposed to be. Or us being, you know, the dominant group where once we leave, you got no one left. It's,
what was the that was the same one. What were your thoughts on the March 29th of 2009 PDL event?
Okay, so this goes back into the escalation of conflict between Kappa W and myself. He's like, oh, you guys have no skill playing by this rule set. It's like, Kappa, we have more skill than you have, and that's saying nothing. Like, I beat him 8 times in a row. And it's like, dude, if there's anyone who has no skill, it's you. So, I'm like, okay, let's make a little wager. He's like, okay, let's have a duel. It'll be 3-on-1. Because he thought was going to be 3 at the same time on one. No, I was going to do a gauntlet 1, then 1, then 1. You lose this duel, you can never play Magic the Gathering again. And he's like, yeah, and if you lose, you can never play PDL again. And it's like, there's no way we can lose to this guy. It's like, he is playing so bad. I took the bet. And it's like, it was supposed to be a traditional format duel. We even went to Anubis's house a couple weeks before this in anticipation for the event, and I think this is as close to the list that I have. Anubis had built a brand new deck for this event. And I'm going to go over it with you real quick. He never played this deck in PDL. He kept it locked up and everything in case we had a problem. But here's the deck that he was going to duel Kappa W with, and it would have completely caught him off guard. Exodia the Forbidden One, all 5 pieces. 3 Gearfried the Iron Knight, 3 Royal Magical Library, Graceful Charity, Pot of Greed, Upstart Goblin, 3 Sangan, Witch of the Black Forest, Emissary of the Afterlife, Reckless Greed, 3 Jar of Greed, 3 Dark Magician of Chaos, Butterfly Dagger, Elma, Hand Destruction, 3 Painful Choice, Raigeki, Harpies, Feather Duster, Solemn Judgment, Monster Reborn, Monster Reincarnation, Premature Burial, Dark Factory of Mass Production.
Why do I feel like I know this deck?
It's kind of close to what Savril did, but this one's built to the limited list of 09. Like, this deck would have been legal for play in a traditional format duel. I had even built a Dark Magician Summon Skull Beatdown deck for traditional format as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up going with the deck that I built for Dzankic and everything.
I just popped on my...
His Harpy deck was good enough traditional format.
I just took out the gods and the lithograph and it's good to go.
And we also gave you the Mass Beast and the Ritual card for that as well.
I think I actually had the Ritual card. I didn't have the monster at the time.
But anyway, we gave him the Mass Beast, and we spent 3 hours at Anubis' house testing his deck, and they worked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I tested it against Sigma's deck because it's like, I own the deck. I own all the cards. He hasn't paid me for it. But yeah, we were able to beat his deck. We were able to beat the spell counter deck that I kind of threw together and everything. And it's like, okay, we're going into this duel. It's going to be traditional format, all this stuff. Okay, so anyway, we get to the event and everything. The March 29th one. Let me try and pull this up real quick. This is the best that I can figure out. I'm not sure if the turn order is exactly like this, but it was close. Sigma V, Hollywood, Cap W, Shotgundude, because it was a tag duel, but everyone was taking individual turns. I would get Lava Golem out on Sigma or Kappa. I don't remember which one it was, because it might have been Kappa going first and not Sigma, but I'm not 100% sure. I just know my opening turn, I used Lava Golem, Sigma Ring of Destruction. But let's get to another thing, too. Lord Anubis actually missed the event. He got called out of town by his dad for a construction job, so he couldn't be there. So that part of the event changed. Root Beer Guy and Chaos Ninja no-showed the event.
Mm-hmm.
So we're down 3 of the people who are supposed to be there. So all the other undercard duels are gone.
Yeah.
We can't have them. So all we have left is that main event duel between myself and Executioner against Kappa and Sigma. But anyway, they focused me in that duel. Sigma illegally summoned the Winged Dragon of Ra, which was banned in that because within that bet, it's like, no Egyptian god cards. I'm like, fine.
Mm-hmm.
I took the Winged Dragon of Ra out into Zankic's deck for test play. It worked fine. It had no problem whatsoever. It could spam summon zombies out like nobody's business, but I didn't end up getting the hand, and I thought it was a traditional format duel, so I played my hand like a traditional format duel.
Yep.
Then when Kappa W or whoever took their turn, actually it might have been Sigma V going third because he played it like a PDL duel, and it's like, wait a second, I thought it was traditional format, and then they're like, no, it's not. It's like, if Anubis was there, I would have been able to call bullshit because he was on the phone with them.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't, so I couldn't really say much.
I haven't gone yet.
Yeah, but anyway, Sigma illegally summoned the Winged Dragon of Ra, and I'll never forget the look on Executioner's face. He looked at me like, what the fuck is he doing? And I shook my head at him like, no. I just was like, no. As in, don't say anything yet. Because it's like, we have them on disqualification already. Mm-hmm. He has played an illegal card that is banned in this particular duel. Kappa W would end up taking 3,000 more damage from his own Tower of Babel, and that would allow Sigma V to eliminate me via however he did it, which I'm not entirely sure of. Shotgundude was able to use Hysteric Party. Sigma V used Spell Absorbing Life to gain back some life points. He was able to survive one of Sigma V's things with Hallowed Life Barrier. Then Sigma made the mistake of tributing Executioner's Volcanic Mass Beast for Volcanic Queen.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that card's a double-edged sword. As long as you tribute monsters on your field, you can make your opponent take 1,000.
Yeah.
Well, Sigma has no Divine Wrath in his deck. He has no protection from that. And Executioner gets swords out, so he's good.
Their turns.
Shotgundude was able to Draining Shield after that, the Winged Dragon of Ra, to gain back over 4,000 life points out of the damage he had taken in that duel. And then he used Magic Cylinder to damage Sigma V's life points from the Winged Dragon of Ra, which I don't think put him below 2,000 because of the life point gain that he had gotten.
No, it did not.
Shotgundude used Mask of Darkness to return Magic Cylinder to hand the following turn. And then Shotgundude would use Magic Cylinder to defeat Sigma V and end the duel. Mm-hmm. And I think you knocked out Kappa W when you summoned Mass Beast on that one turn.
Yeah, because I hit him.
You hit him with 32 and he only had like 2,000 left.
Yeah, he went.
Immediately after that duel, Sigma V attempted to accuse Executioner of cheating. And I'm like, he used Mask of Darkness to return Magic Cylinder to his hand. It's right there.
Yeah.
It's in my grave.
It's on top of his graveyard. He just did it. And then when he had no argument, he's like, I'm done with this bullshit. Let's play a real card game, and took out his Magic the Gathering deck. And it's like, okay, we're done. So I just got up. I'm like, got out, walked away, and was like, I'll never forget the words that I said to him coming out of that restaurant. Shotgundude's dead. You're the Executioner now.
Actually, to be more correct, you were trying for something else. I came up with the Executioner.
Yeah.
Let's just get that correct first.
Well, I wanted to use the Executioner as a character for a new person. But when he did that, it's like he's the only one now that fits. Mm-hmm. Literally, he's the only person that Executioner fits for.
Yep. I'm also going to bring this up because Hollywood likes to play off that I was the apprentice to Sigma. That's not the case. I brought him into the card game. Meaning, I was the master.
The entire time.
The apprentice had failed.
So you just had...
Are you Palpatine?
Basically.
Yeah, fair enough.
So you destroyed Count Dooku.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Darth Maul.
Yeah, basically.
So it's just like, that whole duel, I was just so stunned watching him because Sigma is doing the same mistake that he always did, relying too heavily on one card to win him the duel, and Shotgundude Executioner was able to make a comeback because he's only focusing on this one card.
I feel like that the whole analogy of making one of them Count Dooku is a disrespect to Count Dooku, so maybe Maul's brother.
Savage Opress
just gets bodied by
Sidious.
In that scene. So it's more like that, not...
I could get you.
It doesn't matter. I basically said, fuck you.
Yeah, and there's no way to argue it because it's like the way that we had set it up, and part of my idea for using the copy of Dzankic's deck was psychological warfare because it's like, I wonder what he was thinking in his head when I pulled out that deck and he saw what I was playing because it's like, does he really have Dzankic's deck on? Mm-hmm. Does he... I wonder what the psychological, what was going through his mind, if he was panicking or whatever. But let me bring up one other thing, too, which I think needs to be mentioned in this. Before the duel started, because I gave Sigma his deck and everything, but I didn't take Ra out of it, because it's like, well, it's on you if you don't take the card out of your deck. Mm-hmm. I removed Ra from mine, shuffled my deck, and then all of a sudden Sigma and Kappa demand that they shuffle our decks. And it's like, okay. So we put our decks forward, they shuffled them. Can we shuffle your decks? No. Turn 1, I noticed that Kappa W had set Pyramid of Light face down. Mm-hmm. Which by our rule set, that banishes Egyptian God cards. It's like, so he's wasting a spot in his deck for cards that are illegal in this duel.
Okay.
And it's also in my mindset, it's like, as I recall, you were never supposed to touch Magic the Gathering ever again after losing that duel. Mm-hmm. I guess your word is worthless, isn't it? I mean...
There's no contract, there's no way to force it.
Yeah.
But, behind the scenes, we had done something else too. because of the fight with Corvus and everything, we had seriously talked about firing Sigma V. Because he had assaulted someone, even though it was not a fully contracted member, it was someone who was prospected to be in the Pontiac Duelist League.
Yeah.
And I got some opinions from outside people. I talked to Chris, Kalar Draga. I talked to Tiger King. I think there was someone else who I discussed it with. Damn. That is not the one that I need. Let's see. That is not the one I need either. Because there was a list of people who I talked to. Kalar Draga, Chris, Tiger King. Then we also had Lord Anubis, Executioner, and myself. And then it was after that discussion that's like, no, we cannot have this in here. So under the table, we had done up a contract that if Sigma V loses his duel on March 29th, he's fired.
Yeah.
There were other duels that happened at that event, so you want to list
off what they were. You got Hollywood Big Boss and Shotgundude versus Sigma V and Kappa W.
Just discussed that one.
Yeah. Then you got the endurance duel of Hollywood Big Boss versus Executioner.
That was for the Pontiac Duelist League World Championship. Also want to throw into that duel, the 3 decks I was using were first Dizankic, second deck was Sigma's, third deck was my main deck. He got through almost all 3 decks. He put my main deck down to under 1,100 life points before I was finally able to beat him. So we almost had a new world champion crown that very day. But he went through the 3 original main decks.
Then you got Sigma V versus Kappa W.
That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because they came to my house afterwards, did a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel, and then left. And then we'll get to the next thing.
For the record, did Sigma V steal a deck which you personally own and purchased with your own money?
Executioner, you were the witness to it.
The answer to that is yes, and I even tried to tell him not to. I sat there and kept saying no very quietly because I was trying to keep him from getting in fucking trouble. Did he take my advice? No. He took it. And then I waited. And again, before he did that, he told me it was going to be a prank and he was going to give it back very soon. He was going to leave, pretend to leave, and then come back and give it to him as a joke. He never did. So I told Hollywood the truth about that, and that's the end of that.
Yeah. And then I called Sigma and Kappa right after he told me, because it was only 15 minutes later. Hey, do you have my deck? No, we don't have it. It's got to be somewhere in the room. Fucking liars.
Yeah.
2 years, Kappa W lied to me and finally admitted online. Yeah, we took the deck. It was Sigma's. 2011 is when I went through all of my old eBay receipts, and I added up each individual, receipt. I had the Mike Loda receipt there as well. $237.19 is what you cost me that day. So if you're wondering why I'm pissed at you, that's a pretty good fucking reason to be pissed at you.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the Pontiac Duelist League hype board being blanked on April 3rd of 2009?
I felt it real suspicious that right after we have this blow up with Sigma and Kappa, that all of a sudden my web forum is gone.
Yeah.
And the person claiming responsibility, claiming to be Nightmare, I didn't really believe it. The pieces didn't fit.
Yeah.
Like, they really did not fit. Let me also tell you something else about this that happened. When this incident had happened, they had logged into my account.
Yeah.
Which gave the IP address and everything, which was a Gardner, Illinois IP address, which my dad used to live up there. Here's the problem, though. I had went up to my dad's that day and everything, and we had left town. Well, my dad's driveway was completely full of vehicles and everything. I think he might have even had his camper there at the time. So he told me park in his neighbor's driveway because they're out of town. And I lied to Sigma and Kappa about this, about the IP address, saying that it was my dad's IP address. It wasn't my dad's IP address that they used. It was his neighbor's IP address. So whoever it was drove all the way to Gardner, looked for my vehicle, parked in my dad's neighbor's driveway, used his Wi-Fi with a computer to do it. And it's like, that's why I just kind of kept a lid on that part, because it's like, they kind of self-incriminated themselves, because it's like, you parked in the wrong driveway because you couldn't park in his. And they probably didn't know it either.
Probably.
Because if it was one of Sigma's friends from out of town, Sigma had been to my dad's place. He had been up there once. My dad had an issue with his truck, and he was stranded here in Pontiac. We took him back up to Braidwood, where he did something with his camper, and then brought him back to Gardner. So Sigma would have known kind of where his house was. But the fact that my vehicle was parked in the neighbor's driveway and everything, and that was the IP address used, and it was used at a time that we weren't even at the house.
Yeah.
We had gone to Minnook, and my computer and DVDs and stuff were all in my backpack. The only thing I took with me was my Kaiba deck, in case I found someone to duel or whatever. But anyway, for the stuff to have happened when I'm at my dad's, but at the same time I'm with my dad, but I'm not at his house, it's like, yeah.
It just didn't fit.
No, none of the pieces fit.
What were your thoughts on Sigma V and Kappa W wanting to make a surrender video declaring an end to PDL?
Let me put this into perspective for you. Sigma V, Mr. I Bow to No Man, is making a surrender video?
No.
In what world does that make sense?
Yeah, really.
None.
The only way that this makes sense is if he's in charge of this and is surrendering to himself, because he's not losing face in any way, shape, or form.
Correct.
That's the thing that all of us were thinking here in PDL, is that he's behind it. It's him. It's fucking him.
Yeah.
I was in denial about it, but with what I found out later, it's like, yeah.
What was Root Beer Guy's take on the personal problems between PDL and CILD? CILD, yeah.
Right, give me just 5 seconds, okay? You hear that?
Nothing.
That's the response I got out of him. Nothing.
Fair enough.
Nothing. Absolutely freaking nothing. Not a word.
Do you suspect that Sigma V learned that you had fired him?
Well, we had him fired after the duel, but the ink wasn't dry on that yet. But after he stole that deck, we had him in breach of contract for theft.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Guaranteed.
With all the people we talked to around town and everything, word getting around, do you think he found out that I fired him? Hell yeah, probably.
When did you purchase Dzankic's 50% ownership of Pontiac Duelist League?
It would have been very shortly after the hyperboard had been blanked. I wanted to have control of the Pontiac Duelist League and make sure that everything was good. Dzankic still had his ownership. He had backed away. I had talked with him about buying some cards off of him as well. And we came to a deal. I paid for the ownership. I paid for the cards. And as of that, I was 100% owner of the Pontiac Duelist League.
Yeah. Why did you terminate the Central Illinois League working relationship on April 17th of 09?
So I was done with Sigma at this point. I was still trying to talk to Kappa and everything. But I was getting nowhere. It's like, you'd have more success talking to a deaf person.
Fair enough.
And that's pretty much how I was going at it too, because what he was saying, it's like stuff that I have zero interest in, don't want to do. It's like, give it up on this Magic the Gathering bullshit. I have no interest in it. I hate it.
Yeah.
Quit talking about it around me. Like, you think people with common sense would know enough that if it's something that I don't like, not to bring it up. I mean...
Yeah. Who was the best Pontiac Duelist League world champion?
During this time period?
Yeah, we'll say this.
Oh, God. Let's have a look at who the champions were real quick.
Now we can already get rid of 3 of them.
Yeah.
All right, so You had me for 5 days. Sigma for 45, did nothing with it. Hitman, 12 minutes. Tiger King, 45 minutes. Sigma, 82 days, did nothing with it again. Well, had the couple of unification duels, but that's, 15 days, vacated it. Executioner, me. Executioner, Anubis, 6 days. Me, 49 days. Executioner, 2 days. Dazankic, 26 days. Vacant. Anubis, 30 minutes. Executioner, 7 days. Demon, 45 minutes. Sigma V, 35 days of nothing again. Then vacated again. Executioner, 15 minutes. Demon for 77 days. Sigma V, 7 days. Me, 15 minutes. Root Beer Guy, 1 second for the unification. Root Beer Guy, 19 days. Me, 15 days. Kappa W, 7 days. Sigma V, 157 days. Once again, doing nothing with it. Vacant for 3 days. Root Beer Guy on January 1st, 09, getting awarded the title, 25 days. And then me, 84 days. So, judging by, the cutoff point being April, I'd have to say me because the only other person who regularly defended it was me.
Yeah.
And Demon was doing it every other week, or every week, if not twice or 3 times a week for his title matches that we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Who were the best Pontiac Duelist League tag team champions of this time period?
Oh, God. That is... Yeah, the tag team title, unfortunately, during this time, did not have a lot of... it wasn't used properly.
Yeah,
I'm willing to admit it. 17 minutes, Anubis and Executioner, me and Root Beer Guy, 22 days. Demon and Wolfbane, 7 days, vacant. Root Beer Guy and Executioner, 20 minutes. Sigma and Dazankic, 148, did nothing with it. Demon and Executioner, 20 minutes. Me and Root Beer Guy, 13 days. Kappa and Chaos Ninja, 110 days. Their first title defense was when they lost it. Aster and Sartorius, 80 days. Did nothing with it. Vacated. Me and Executioner. And that would be the start of our 536-day reign together. But we didn't really start defending them until PDL got back on its feet again.
So they were just kind of in storage, really, if you consider it.
Yeah, so I wouldn't even consider me and Executioner at this point being the best champions of anything. I'd say no one.
Yeah, that was the 500 days. That was the best it was, and that was nothing but the air.
Yeah.
We just bodied people so bad during that run, but we're not to that yet. But for the first 60-some days of this reign, we didn't really do much of it, but then we made a comeback later on. Big time.
Who was the best PDA... Oh, whoops, I missed one. Who was the best Livingston County / NWO champion?
Almost said NW 2.0, didn't
I
you?
did.
Okay, so this list is a little bit long.
Because it's like, that's
God.
Root Beer Guy, 38 days. Good reign. Me, 1 day. Root Beer Guy, 48 days. Dazankic, 25 days. Vacant. Tiger King, 46 days. Executioner, 5 hours. Sigma V, 35 days. Vacant. Go figure. Me, 21 days. Vacant. Anubis, 15 minutes. Executioner, 8 days. Root Beer Guy, 5 minutes. Vacant. Executioner, 14 days. Root Beer Guy, 15 days. Vacant. Dazankic, 14 days. Vacant. Root Beer Guy, Executioner, Root Beer Guy, once again. Executioner, again. Sigma V, 1 hour. Me, 14 days. Executioner, 8 minutes. Me, 2 days. Root Beer Guy, 16 minutes. Executioner, 11 minutes. Root Beer Guy.
Oh, Jesus.
There were a lot of title changes with this one. Root Beer Guy, 4 days. Executioner, 2 hours, vacant. Demon, 7 days. Sigma, 1 day, vacant. Anubis, 14 days. Demon and Executioner co-holding at 13 minutes. Executioner, 24 minutes. Yeah. Anubis, 21 days. Wolfbane, 21 days, vacant. Anubis, 5 minutes. Demon, 1 second, unified. Demon, 45 minutes. Executioner, 20 days. Chaos Ninja, 20 days. Actually, no, Executioner, 20 days. Chaos Ninja, 8 days. Cap W, 6 days. Vacant. Me, 22 days. Lord Anubis 1 hour and me 164 days.
Yeah,
that title went everywhere because it was actually defended, and the duelists were so close in dueling for it that you were going to have a lot of title changes because it was defended so frequently. Like, I'd have to say probably me again because 164-day reign, and I actually did something with it.
Yeah.
I defended against Executioner. I defended against Anubis during this time period.
That makes sense. Who was the best PDL hardcore champion? I'm always afraid to ask this question.
That's a good point.
I don't know how much there is on the hardcore title at this point in time.
Probably nothing.
If only. Hitman has it 30 days. You have it. Sigma has it for 31 days. You beat Sigma. Zankic has it 30 days. Anubis 17 days. Fruit Beer Guy 1 day. And that's already December, so this title's not jumping around nowhere near as much as the NW 2.0. Zankic 14 days vacant. Executioner 12 days vacant. Root Beer Guy 15 minutes. Sigma 6 days. Executioner beats him again, unified with the NWO belt. Root Beer Guy 10 minutes. Anubis 4 days vacant again. Demon gets it for 30 minutes vacant. Root Beer Guy 26 days vacant. Executioner 16 minutes. Me 1 second, then vacant 142 days. And then you have Chaos Ninja 3 days. Kappa W 78 days, did nothing with it. Aster, Sartorius, 30 minutes, 1 day, vacant. Kappa W again, did nothing with it. Lost Chaos Ninja, 37 days. Executioner, Unified, Executioner. I'd say Executioner, 63 days. He actually did something with the fucking title. So
That makes sense. Alrighty.
He actually did something with it. So
Fair enough. You can finally get to the report cards.
So Executioner has not done one of these yet, so he'll have to kind of follow me. So you'll do what you did last time, just read off name, I'll give my opinion, and then Executioner can give his automatically after.
Yep.
If he met them or whatever.
Yeah. Well, Zankic.
We were in the twilight of his career. He was still a B-rank duelist. I'd say C as far as personality because he just started withdrawing. I mean,
yeah.
And his dueling started to suffer for it too. I mean, it's like when you have someone that you're that close to and then they just start backing away, it's just like, and I don't know what happened. Executioner.
I mean, for the few times I actually got to play him, it was fun. But again, like as you said, like I could even tell at a certain point when things were going down because again he was tough in the beginning, but then he got really soft.
Yeah. So what would you grade him as for his dueling skill and his personality?
His personality I'd probably give a C, and his dueling went from an A to about a B to a C by the end.
Yeah, fair enough. This is more of a question for you, Executioner. Hollywood Big Boss. I cannot speak apparently.
Now, keep in mind, this is only the time period from 07 to 09. We're not talking about me now.
Considering back then, you were probably the toughest opponent out of everyone compared to Anubis. I gotta give you A, and you're always upbeat, so A.
On my personal thing, I was going through a lot of garbage at this point in time. My dueling, I felt like I was at the top of my fucking game. I had the NWO championship all that time. I was defending it regularly against Anubis and Executioner. I was pushing them harder than I ever had before. A, I think, would be a fair grade. Personality, I'd say C because of all the personal bullshit that I was going through. And it was just...
You were able to keep... You didn't bring it with you when you...
No, I didn't. I didn't bring it with me at the events. Like,
so I could say you had an A because, again, you were able to...
I did my best to keep it, hidden and inside and deal with my personal stuff. I didn't want to bring it and bring people's moods down, at the events.
That makes sense.
But yeah, there was a lot on my plate at this time, and yeah, I lost a lot of close people to me, just moving further away.
Yeah. Wolfbane.
once again, a duelist who should have been a B grade duelist dueling at a C. Like, it felt like he could be doing better. Why is he not doing better? Personality, once again, I'd say a B, but I didn't really interact with him that much. Executioner.
For a few times I duel him, I'll probably agree it was a C. His personality towards me, it shifted between about an F and a C, I'd say.
Demon.
Okay. This is going to be one. Stole cards from Wolfbane, stole his deck, stole his cell phone. Had a good world title run, but that doesn't even matter anymore.
Yep.
Dueling skill, he was up there and everything, but I'm just going to say dueling B, but his personality and everything that he did, F. What about you?
His dueling, I'd probably give about a C because I only got a couple matches with him, really.
You had a lot of matches with him, but C?
But he didn't try during most
Gotcha.
of them. That was the
you.
thing. Like, I could tell he wasn't trying.
I get you.
There's a difference between I'm trying and I don't give two fucks. Why am I here? And he was mostly that. That's why I said that. And his personality, definitely enough. Fuck that. Not even enough. It's a Z.
Tiger King.
Tiger King. Okay. Really upbeat guy. Never had a problem with him. Dueling, I'd say he's a B. Personality, A. Real friendly guy. And I just can't say enough good things about him. He was really nice. Like,
Yeah.
he's one of the nicest guys you could ever meet.
Fair enough.
He's, again, good guy. Dueling, definitely a B. Personality, A+. He was just upbeat. I mean, he could bring... I mean, I showed up a couple times where I was just kind of like, I don't want to be here. He brought the room up, you know.
Yeah. Like, he was a real good person to be around. Still is.
Yeah, fair enough. Shotgundude / Executioner.
Ooh, boy.
You get to grade yourself.
I get to grade him.
Yeah.
Joy.
The brother I never had growing up. Proud to call him one of my best friends. One of the few people on this earth that there is nothing I wouldn't do for him. Dueling during this time period, A. Holy shit. Personality, A. It's like I could not have been more proud of him during this time period. He kept everything together. He proved why the Duelists in the Pontiac Duelist League are the best in the world at what we do, about our knowledge in the card game, about how he handled himself. I don't have a single bad thing to say about him. Executioner, you want to grade yourself?
I'm going to say a B on my cards because there were some things I did mess up. I noticed as I, you had all...
Yeah, but you're going to notice I'm not.
Yeah, I did. I noticed shit, like some crap misplays and stuff like that, so I can definitely say B to a C during that. Personality, I always kept my personal business out and kept everybody, and I tried to be upbeat as all I could, so I'm going to say an A.
Yeah, fair enough. Lord Anubis.
Now, this is Lord Anubis during this time period before his personal problems and shit happened, which was totally out of his control. But personality at this time, A. His dueling, I'd say an A. Like, he really knew his shit.
Yep.
He was really on point, but unfortunately, other people just didn't see it or didn't want to see it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I can't change anything. I agree with you. I mean, he was during this time, he was hell of an opponent to face, so A in dueling, and his personality at the time was just fun.
Like, we didn't have any issues with him. Like, he was always good. Always there to help us if we needed it in dueling or whatever.
Exactly. That's why I can't say anything. It's like, during that time, he was just fun to be around.
Fair enough. Corvus.
Well, I'm just going to stick with what I said last time. You sexually assault a 13-year-old. There's nothing that needs to be said, so next.
Yep. Oh boy, this one's gonna be bad. Sigma V.
Oh, God. Okay, stole $237.19 worth of cards from me. Having his friends up in Bradley, Illinois, cyberbullying me for over 2 years. And thanks to his friend running into me in person in October of 2009, I found out about that.
Yep.
Thanks to Tommy, I found out that he was taking his mom's Explorer up to Bradley and Bourbonnais and Kankakee every other weekend. And Executioner actually told me about something the other day which relates to that issue. Remember how he picked you up the one time?
Oh, yeah, I was in his car, and that thing, I knew the thing was so many years old, but the miles were stupidly ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, they had gone, because he had interaction with Sigma before this, and he's like, damn, you've been putting a lot of miles on this thing. Well, he's going to see Kappa W in Kappa, and he's going up in Bradley to see Eric and those guys, so it's like,
yeah,
that's a lot of distance between here and there.
it is.
I mean, if you want to talk about an identity crisis with Sigma V, Sidhad, Senma 88, Shadowhunter 12, Unholy Stealth, Archdruid 90, Raging Barbarian, and then you also had Granite Shield 89 and Firestorm 77. It's like this guy has an identity crisis. He keeps changing his username. He has multiple YouTube accounts with these usernames. And the only reason why I found out that Granite Shield 89 and Firestorm 77 were his accounts is because I'd sent an email from Sigma's own computer emailing myself a picture that Kappa W had sent him or whatever at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So through that, I was able to take the IP address from that email and be like, oh, this is Sigma V's IP address, and it matches this Firestorm account, which I deleted, and then he made Granite Shield 89, which I then just blocked, so that way the IP address would be permanently banned on the Pontiac Duelist League Hyperboard, because it's like, I don't want him involved in Pontiac Duelist League or trying to stalk Anubis like I found out that he was trying to do, and it's like, what the fuck? Really? You're trying to stalk a 12-year-old kid?
Ugh.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, well.
And then taking a look back on Sigma V stealing my deck and everything, because I just thought about this part. I had actually found part of the strip deck and everything at his house when Sigma had invited me over there one day. There were about like 20 of the cards or whatever still in my sleeves and everything. And he was using the same Legends deck box that deck had came in with the same factory defects stamping on the top because it was double stamped. So you had the Legends logo on the thing twice. So it's like, okay, that's obviously my deck box. I just found 20 or so of the cards in that tin over there, which I just quietly pocketed or put in my deck box with my thing because it's like, okay, I know what he did with the deck now. And I'm just, I'm trying to keep, it's civil at the time, but it's like, another thing that I thought was really weird with the whole Nightmare incident and all that is that all of a sudden Sigma V's got a PC problem. He's got a problem and his computer is turned into a brick and he needs to get a completely new computer after all this shit has happened with my board being blanked and all that stuff. And it's like, is that really what happened or is he just destroying the evidence,
Yeah.
That just always stuck with me in my head. As far as, like, Sigma, he is... the person who he pretends to be does not exist.
Yeah.
Like, it's all a fake. Like, he was never my friend.
Yeah.
Like, let me just put it out there. He was never my friend. I was a punchline in a joke to him. And he said that to someone I know. And I'm not going to out them because I don't want that heat put on them. But as far as his dueling goes, F. Making up card rulings, falsifying life totals and getting caught at it. Cheating.
Yeah.
And then personality, once again, F. I mean... Executioner might grade him differently, but just from my interaction, I have nothing good to say about the guy, so I'm just going to leave it there.
Besides the stuff that I didn't know at the time, because there's some things Hollywood did not reveal to me till later, I gotta give him, his personality was kind of shit, so I'm going to give him a D there. His dueling stood out kind of as he would try, and then he didn't really care either.
One-trick pony.
Yeah, it kind of went from D to F, and then even after that, it seemed to go even further than F and F minus territory. Like, he didn't care no more.
Nidar? Or Nieder?
Nieder.
Nieder.
Had some small interaction with him at a Sigma V hosted event that was traditional format. Once again, dueling skill hadn't really improved. C on the dueling personality, same as last time, I'd say.
I never had
D or F.
with him, so...
Yeah, he can't comment because he never really met the guy.
Malachi.
Same thing. Had that interaction with him. Nothing had really changed from last time. His dueling was C territory or whatever, and his personality still sucked. I felt bad for him after his dad died and everything, but it's just we did not get along. So it's like, I'm not going to hold anything, personally against him, but it's just like we don't mix. Like,
yeah, that's fair. Anything to comment? Nope.
I don't think he met him. So.
No, I never did. It's one of the ones that got nothing to say.
Kine.
Same thing once again. No change in him. So yeah.
Yep.
Dueling C, personality F.
Hitman.
Oh God. This is the guy that almost made me not want to see Executioner. Too young to be in the game.
Yeah.
Did not know his card game, so F on that department. Personality, he tried. So, but I only had one interaction with him. I can't say it was bad. I can't say it was good. So
I actually knew who he was in real life, so I can butt in here and say his personality. He was an upbeat kid.
Okay,
fair enough.
All right, but I only had that one interaction.
Yeah, I guess.
Did you ever duel him or not?
Never dueled, but I knew him outside because I used to live in that area, so I can say like as a kid he had an upbeat personality.
Gotcha.
He was just exactly as a kid should be.
Yeah. Okay. EX19.
Okay. Thought it was really weird that he knew PDL format when I met him and was okay to duel. Dueling, very blocky, bricky, one-dimensional like Sigma. I'd say a D because he had Obelisk and that's all he had. Like Obelisk and then try to use the effect. Like that's all the deck could do. Like it couldn't handle, offense from a dragon deck or anything like that. So personality F because he was one of Sigma's boys cyberbullying me. So yeah. He was in on that.
Root beer guy.
I'm kind of conflicted on this one because it's like he was a great friend through 90% of this, but the tail end of it, it's just like he withdrew. He stopped talking to me. Kappa always said that, root beer guy's on my side. And it's like, I don't hear anything from him. If what Kappa's saying is true, then it's really disappointing. Root beer guy's dueling also suffered after his mom passed away. He went from dueling at a B to C and everything. And it's like, why are you getting worse? It's like, you're not getting better, and you're getting better cards, and you're still not getting better. Anything to comment on?
Not really, because I came in after some of that traumatic shit. I kind of didn't get to do him too much before, so it's like, I couldn't really judge. But I mean, his personality stayed about a C for me.
Yep.
And then his dueling, I just fluctuated way too much. It went from D to C to F. It just went up and downhill. Like there was things where you get a good.
Wasn't consistent.
Yeah. Kappa W.
Well, I'm going to start off with the fact that I believe that Kappa W is the Jim Hurt of dueling.
Okay. Mind explaining?
Jim Hurd was hired to be the president of World Championship Wrestling after it was sold from Jim Crockett in 1988 or 89. WCW went from selling out the Greensboro Coliseum, which set over 23,500 people, to not even being able to fill a high school gymnasium under this guy.
Oh, jeez.
That's how bad he took a multi-million-dollar company and pretty much bankrupted it. What was Jim Hurd's job when WCW hired him to be the president of this multi-million-dollar wrestling company?
What?
He was the regional manager of Pizza Hut in St. Louis. So now the regional manager of Pizza Hut is running a wrestling company.
Oh.
And he wanted to take Ric Flair, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, one of the biggest box office draws of all time, have him shave his head, put a diamond earring in his ear, and call him Spartacus.
Why?
He took Kevin Nash, who was one of the best big men in the wrestling business.
Mm-hmm.
He painted his hair silver and called him Oz. Made him walk out in this green, like lime green puke star jacket.
Oh, God.
And gave him the manager, the Wizard.
What the hell? Oh,
and then he came up with this tag team concept of the Ding Dongs, where they were named Ding and Dong, and they would tag in with a bell, which was on the turnbuckle post.
Okay.
Part of this was because WCW had acquired the old Turner Classic movies and everything, and I think it was MGM or whatever, in that area. And it's like, this is the level of incompetence I was dealing with. Not only as a promoter, like, I felt that his events were subpar, but being able to book those events. You need to know who to match up against who. You got to take a look at the win-loss records. Be like, okay, this guy should be dueling this guy should be dueling this guy. And that's part of the reason why I was having Extreme Elimination, was I can gauge where everyone's skill level is at to know where the future matchups are going to be. But yeah, to finish off the whole Kappa W saga of being equated to Jim Herd, I'd like a large pie with pepperoni, please. Let me tell you another story about Kappa W. He had come to Pontiac and everything, and the brakes went out on his car. We tried to buy brake fluid at Walmart and everything, and it just kept pouring out of the car. The brakes were completely gone. The brake line or whatever had either decayed or whatever. So we spent over 3 hours Fred Flintstoning his car back to his house, driving 30 miles an hour. I had my hazards on behind him just to make sure that no one hit us and everything. We made it home at like 8 or 9 o'clock that night or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, Hollywood, you're a true friend." However, apparently that wasn't the same case when it came to me, because it's like when I have an issue, he's not willing to do the same. Another big issue that we had was Kappa W wanting to charge money to attend the Pontiac Duelist League events. And it's like, no. I'd rather have people spend that money to build up their decks, to get new cards, to bring something new to the table. I don't want to, like, to me it just seemed like a scam. That way Kappa W could just take the money and put it in his pocket. That's how I saw it. Because I knew that no one would fucking show up if we started charging money.
Yeah, there's just no point.
Exactly. And that goes into my other thing with, his promotion style. It's totally out of touch. Why show up to one of his things when, like, Grafalia's or Collectible Corner or one of those other places has events that you can pay for, but at least you're going to maybe get something, but that's the other problem. Maybe get something. You're not guaranteed to.
Yeah.
You're throwing in money and getting nothing in return. It's like, no, I'm not all about that garbage. And, like, for me, Kappa W came off as really lazy. Like, this is from my perspective, okay? This could have changed, but, this is just me, how I looked at it. He's an aspiring writer who doesn't write anything. He's a filmmaker who's not making films. Like, he's got stuff on the burner and there's no progress being made. He's a graphic novelist who's not drawing anything. To me, it just came off like he had no passion or love for his work or love for dueling. Like, to me, he just came off as emotionally disconnected as a human being. Like, I don't think he loved anything. Like, to me, you can tell when someone is very passionate, very into what they're doing. And to me, he just came off as, like, doing it out of habit, I guess. And his failure to grow as a duelist and doing what he needed to succeed in not only the Pontiac Duelist League or outside of it in his CILD group, which that folded up pretty much once we were gone. And actually, I'm going to go into detail about his dueling right now. Let me tell you a little story here to put things into perspective. Kappa W, in his infinite wisdom, decided to run a spell counter deck, being like, oh, this will be the deck that will be, my main deck and everything. So I dueled him at his event, bodied him with that Chaos Emperor Dragon Blackluster Envoy Chaos deck. And then he tries to use the same deck in PDL. And it's like, the point is that I'm trying to make is that Red Mist also tried to use a spell counter deck in Only Heritage.
There's I'm just going to say this. There's a simple problem here. Spell counters do not work in this place.
They don't work in regular format either. They're too slow.
I've seen one spell counter deck, and that is it. And it works.
Barely.
You have to really invest into it. Like, you can't run all of the spell counter cards. You basically have to run three ofs of a lot of cards.
Yeah.
And one Imperial Order and the deck's dead in the water.
Basically,
Bingo.
almost, yeah.
But it's just like, for me, it's like, it's the definition of insanity. You're trying to repeat the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, and you're not going to get it with what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
Red Mist was smart enough to be like, this is garbage, and he got rid of the deck. He stopped playing it, because after Shaggy 3D beat him that bad in that one duel, he's just like, I'm done. This isn't working. This is not viable in traditional format. This isn't viable in our format.
Yeah.
Cap W, he kept trying to do it, and trying to do it, and trying to do it, and it's like,
it doesn't work.
it does not work.
Yeah.
And no matter what you tried to tell the guy, he would not listen. That was my other big problem, communication. He would not take advice when you would try to give it to him to help out his deck. You need something that can be either a wall or a big beater in order to reinforce what you're trying to do, because you don't have anything.
Yeah.
Any of those monsters failed. You're a sitting fucking duck.
Yep.
Like Executioner beating him with the Harpy deck the way that he did.
No spells or traps allowed to begin with.
Yeah, it's like sitting duck. And there's only so much you can do. You can lead a horse to water. You can't make him drink.
That is true.
And as far as him hijacking RDL and everything like that, it's like, well, if Root Beer Guy was on your side, then he was in breach of our agreement then.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, W's management style, and he never got this. Why are you trying to do the same thing that everyone else is doing? Because if you're doing that, why bother showing up? And the point that he got into on one of his things, I went to Grafalia's Airy because they were doing events better than I was. Yeah, so why were you trying to do Swiss format events on your own?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're doing the same thing everyone else is doing. Do something different.
Yeah.
He's trying to do the same trick that everyone else does. It
just doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Personality F, dueling F. It's like, you can't fix it.
Yeah. Yep. Chaos Ninja.
Never had a problem with him. Chaos Ninja, his dueling was not the best. It was a D, I'd say. Mm-hmm. But his personality was always an A with me. Like, I never had a problem with it.
I will say over time his dueling went from a D probably to a C. And his personality was fine.
Yeah, like, we never had a problem with him.
Yeah, fair
Never.
I mean, he was a straightforward, nice guy. I mean,
the only guys that we had a problem with were Sigma and Kappa trying to make it not fun for everyone else.
That's right. Aster.
Well, he was really nice to me at the event. But then you throw in the fact that every time he logs in, my account on the Central League forum gets deleted.
Yeah.
That's really suspicious. So either someone was messing with his account or someone was messing with my account and deleting it. I'm not sure which way to go.
Yeah.
Let's see, that's question.
Yeah. He could have been deleting my account. I'd like to think that he wasn't, but I can't say for certain. From what I knew him, his personality was nice. He was a B. His dueling was C to a D. Like, it's like he relied heavily on that banish deck, and that was his only trick. Like, he was good. He was the best one at that trick, but if it didn't work, then he failed.
Yeah. Sartorius.
Sartorius, the best duelist that RDL had, bar none. His dueling was a B. I'd say his personality was probably a C. Like, It's just...
Yeah.
He was good at what he did, and I wish I remember what deck he played. Like, I know for a fact that my Chaos deck they ran at that one event would have been able to beat him. But because I got thrown against a guy who had already lost and is running a deck that will counter Chaos decks exclusively, it's just, yeah. And the fact that he decided, I gotta leave after having that duel with Aster again, it's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't say too much, but the thing that I just got out of him is he just, like, kind of looked down on me. That's just how I looked at it.
Fair enough. Blue Dog.
He was a friend online, Yu-Gi-Oh player and everything. He got drawn into Nightmare, EX19's bullshit and everything.
Yeah.
Can't say a whole lot about his dueling skill, because I didn't see a lot of it.
Yeah.
Personality, A. Real nice guy. I don't think you had any interaction.
Never mind.
And finally, Airblade 87.
Once again, another guy who was really nice personality-wise. Duelist, met him on a Yu-Gi-Oh forum and everything. Drawn into the bullshit again.
Yeah.
By Sigma and his little cronies. But, yeah, don't have a bad thing to say about him personality-wise. Dueling, I wish I had been able to see it, because, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
But anything you want to add, Alistar, to this, or any questions you want to add?
Unfortunately, I don't have anything on the top of my head.
But we are in past the worst of it and everything now. We are going to be getting into the golden age in the next part. I mean, and Executioner, thank you for being along for the ride as, fact checker, because you were here with all that stuff going on.
Yep.
So who better to,
That truth. I wish I wasn't for most of it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's all a big pile of bullshit.
Yeah.
You have no idea. But hey, there was light at the end of the tunnel. We got out of the darkness, and then after this, we took off in one of the best runs that the Pontiac Duelist League ever had, and we'll be touching that in my part 3. But the next interview is going to be very controversial because of a person who we are going to be interviewing. I might have an interesting time with this person because Pontiac Duelist League will be interviewing, of all people, I cannot believe I'm saying this, the Alchemist.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
That's going to be something else. I don't know how that one is going to go.
I can tell you how it's going to go. It's going to be another big pile of bullshit.
Oh boy. Yeah. Alistar, once again, thank you so much. I hope I, answered a good amount of the questions that you had.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I was able to have my computer in front of me, go through my records, and just tell you what I have in front of me here. And
Yep.
yeah, I mean, but once again, everyone, thank you for listening to this interview video. And yeah, Alistar, thank you so much, my friend.
Yep.
Executioner,
No problem.
take care. Anyway, this is Hollywood Big Boss and Executioner Dairoku Tenmao of NW 2.0, Red Mist Appreciation Society, and Alistar, the rising star of Duelists and Frontières, signing off.